But if you can't buy experience or have experience on the pitch, there is still ability, and you have to say people like Harry Green certainly going well at the moment. Dom Tia is one on the other side, however. Now, he got a goal against Tibbs, but he hasn't scored for a while in the league. Now, I wonder how much that's playing on his mind, to be honest, because I think as soon as he gets another, the floodgates are going to open for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, he's definitely a player that's got an eye for goal. I mean, he scored the goal at Marine that separated the two sides, you know, so he's scored important goals as well. You know, he's the type of player that can break the deadlock when the games are tight. He's got that sort of ability, and I think his link play with Harry Green as well on the other side. You know, when Harry's crossing from, you know, the left, he's getting in at the back stick. They're comfortable. You know, they understand each other's game, which is really important because there's so many goals scored at the back post from crosses, and particularly at this level because defenders switch off. You know, and I think that they're aware of that. You can see that. So I just think they're a really bright young side, you know, and I think Jonathan's done brilliant with them. And every time I come and watch, it's a pleasure to watch them.
We'll probably mention the idea of having more depth and transfers maybe later in the game if it starts to show this evening that there's a couple of gaps possibly emerging from Scarborough Athletic side. We're just watching the teams change ends for the first half. Ben Robinson has signalled after the coin toss. Kidderminster are going to attack towards their own supporters, who have made the long journey from Worcestershire away to our left hand side, but have travelled in certainly respectable number this evening, probably around 50-60 of them over there to our left hand side for the 4+ hours that it takes to get to North Yorkshire. And Harry Green will get us underway here on BBC Radio York across all frequencies tonight. And remember, if you want to get involved with the discussion, regardless of how Scarborough Athletic play, it is 81333 on the text, 08000 321 333 on the WhatsApp, and make sure you start your messages with the word York. We'll run through the Kidderminster team in a moment, but the game is underway, and Ryan Whitley in green sends one booming into the night sky. A clear night sky here. Maybe a bit of fog rolling in later, but let's see what happens as Colville with an early bringing the ball down from Purver's header. Green just to the right of the box, has two to dance past. He'll try and do it, but he's won the first corner of the afternoon. Jim Kellerman, who's been brought into the Kidderminster side tonight, putting the ball out of play, but early positivity. Set piece in the opening minute.
Yeah, very aware of Harry Green. Kidderminster doubled up on him straight away as soon as the ball got played wide to him. He's done well because he's won his side of corner, like you said.
Colville will take it. Waldron waits on the edges. Brown has stayed back, having a little word with Ryan Whitley in the centre circle. Very congested 6-yard box. Lots of movement. In the ball swings, aimed towards the back post. Willedge goes up for it, and Kidderminster just get a little bit of aggression. Now for Tier, trying to bring it down in the D. Willedge just trying to hit it through traffic, and on that occasion Caleb Richards managing to just stumble on the ball and poke it away. Tier to the edge of the box left side, looking to try and get his way through as well. It's now intercepted on that far side by Riley Reynolds and cleared all the way back towards Will Thornton. Kidderminster's team is Dibble in goal, then it's Caleb Richards, Paul Downing, who's a very experienced and championship experienced defender, Reece McNally, Amari Morgan-Smith, Ashley Hemmings, Joe Fox, Maz Kuya, who's on loan from York, Jim Kellerman, David Davis and Riley Reynolds. On the bench is Tom Palmer, Reece Devine, Zach Brown, Seb Thompson and Tope Abadie, as Kidderminster from their backline clear away. They've dabbled with their formations. 3-4-3 they line up as on paper. If they're under the pump, imagine a 5-4-1 could immediately take shape as the ball is played long down the middle. Colville can't wrestle off Kellerman as it's hit back the other way and brought down momentarily by Hemmings, who I don't think realised after he tested it the ball had sprung so far forward. He should have really gone on the run there.
Yeah, I tell you what, a great start from Scarborough, to be fair. Really camped in Kidderminster's half. It's a really high press. Anything that's dropped loose, they're contesting. You know, they've really got themselves on the front foot. It looks like John Hall's really got his side pumped up for this tonight.
Yeah, stands arms folded. The warm-up looked intense as well, as maybe that little break from the league action has immediately done them the world of good. So eager to get on the pitch after hitting 11, regardless of the opponent in Tibbs. Wiles has it in the middle of the Kidderminster half, back towards Willeji, who turns to face Whitley. He will send it back to the goalkeeper out of his penalty area, lofting it through the air. Bennett with the nod down, just hangs in the air. Colville tries to help it on to Tier, trying to run in behind the defence. Perver then in the middle of the half squanders a pass on the right hand side, and Richards brings it down the line, hooks the touchline, and now Kuyar is judged to be offside. Doesn't complain about it, but I imagine that was a pretty close call, where Leggy and Thornton weren't too far away from playing him onside. Yeah, it's a great ball, to be fair. Just slid down the side into the channel, and at times he's run just too early, to get himself on the end of that, but it's a good little bit of play. It's a great run from Cunha. Richards down this right hand side, vastly experienced, was coached by John Eustace before he departed Kidderminster Harriers for what is now Blackburn Rovers, having had a spell at Birmingham City in between, and of course did exceptionally well for those who follow the Championship, got them into the playoff places before being let go following a takeover. As now Kidderminster knit it together through midfield, and here they come through the middle. Neat through ball, and Morgan Smith round the goalkeeper, but offside it is. And on that occasion it was their number 30 Reynolds breaking through, only to see the flag go up against Hemmings over on the right side of the front three. And again it was close, but you could see that pace in being able to knit it together in midfield. Yeah, it's that pace, the legs, to be able to get away from the opponent from midfield. It's Alex Perver that he runs off the back of, to be fair, and it's a good run from Reynolds, just drives all the way to nearly the D on the edge of the box, just slides it through, but the strikers have just gone a little bit too early. Good defensive line from Scarborough. From the 18-yard line, Whitley boots it away. It goes over towards, on that occasion, Dom Tier. Aggressive jump from the pair of them. And this time the Kidderminster Harriers front three don't go charging for the ball. Brown looks to put a clearance in. Reynolds eventually arrived, put a deflection on the ball, as Whitley now side foots it away. Kidderminster come into this one with 5 away clean sheets in 6 matches. They know how to be tight at the back, and they're having a lot of the ball now. Kuyar, edge of the box left hand side, down the line it travels towards Kellerman. Ryan Whitley was exceptionally convinced that it had gone out of play. Cleared away however by Willeji. Linesman flag didn't go up. Colville and Perver combined together. Colville's got 3 around him in blue shirts. A little Cruyff turn back towards Perver, and now Brown looking to then just dab one through for either Bennett or Tier to run onto, but well over hit, and there was no run from the front line. Looks as though Colville's going to push up as far as he can and actually create a 4-4-2 situation for the Sea Dogs tonight. Yeah, I mean obviously the width is really important for Scarborough, because they get so much joy in them areas. Every time I see them play, they double up well, full-backs overlap as well, join in. It puts a little bit of onus on the 2 central midfield players, Alex Perver and Wiles obviously, and they look quite bright in there. They look like they're quick and sharp, and they've really started to get to grips with the games now, Kidderminster, and it's been a classic game. Rhys McNally playing on the right side of the back 3 will drop in as well, as he just moves infield from the throne, which is then cleared away down the line and out of play. But it was a little deflection on the way through, so Kidderminster advance into the Scarborough half. 0-0 the scoreline at the moment. If you're just joining us here on BBC Radio York, we are in the early stages. No shots of note from either team just yet. We're just seeing little moments of experience though from Kidderminster. How they've managed this game. They started really, really well, Scarborough, but they met it head on. Kidderminster physically, they're a big physical side and they compete. And you've got to stay with them. Well, Pervert back in the team tonight, trying to be that forceful midfielder down the line with, on this occasion, Reynolds, who's trying to wriggle through. He's given away a free kick, according to tonight's referee, who is Ben Robinson. He just felt that he was nibbling a little too much there at Alex Brown. Will Thornton was on the cover, however, on the right-hand side edge of the penalty area. Just give you a little run through of what's happening in the National League North this evening. There are 3 other games tonight. Alfreton against Brackley, Chorley are at home to Peterborough Sports, and Leamington are at home to Chester. Chester have gone in front early in that one, leading by a goal to nil after 9 minutes. We've played 8 here on BBC Radio York. 0-0 the scoreline at the moment. As Neil Redfern mentions, experienced Kidderminster Harriers side, and just seeing a couple of moments where they handle situations better as the ball's gone out on the far side. Brown about 15 yards from halfway, just unable to wriggle out of a little trap set by those in navy blue, so now they get the throw in. Reynolds is trying to just peel away from Perver, and Dom Tier will pick him up as he tucks right back near Alex Brown on that left hand side of the front three, and then it's given away in turn by Folks, who's over on that far side trying to side foot it down the line, kicks it straight out of play in front of the Adverset stand, which is well populated again tonight. I would imagine there's probably about 1,300 or so through the gate this evening. Throwing down the line by Scarborough, and Richie Bennett I think is judged to have maybe pushed a little too aggressively on McNally, and a free kick now goes Kidderminster's way just inside their own half. 0-0.
Yeah, started well, Richie Bennett. You know what he's going to give you, big physical presence up front, but not only that, he's really aware of the runners. His touch is good and he plays these little balls off, and it's important to Scarborough's build.
Morgan Smith with a good flick on down the line on that occasion. Kellerman trying to work room to get a cross in, cleared away by Scarborough. Bennett with an inch perfect flick on, but nobody there to receive it. Waldron outjumped by Kuyar in the air, and he's a ball now, the Kidderminster man, but again judged to be offside, and now he just feels a little bit more aggrieved. He feels there was a touch off Jack Waldron. A little thumb up of appreciation to the midfielders and nothing more. Free kick Scarborough's way, just out to the right hand side of Ryan Whitley's penalty area.
I think it's the right decision, but it's a really late call from the linesman. I think it's the initial one when one of the Kidderminster strikers went in early, and he looked at it, the linesman didn't put his flag up, and then he thought about it and then raised his flag. But they're coming into this game now, Kidderminster, they're very physical. You know, it's a very front foot formation, 3-4-3. You've got to cope with it.
Well, they've got a throw in Scarborough into the final third, as Bennett will leave this now for Alex Brown, and he will make sure he takes up his position in the penalty area to be a possible recipient, as Brown has the ball above his head in front of the Adverset stand. The fans in the terrace to that right hand side. Brown with a run up and a stutter throws it in. An attempted flick on by Bennett. I think that will be a corner if it goes out of play. He's booted out on that occasion. That time it was Joe Folks clearing it away, and Ben Robinson has signalled that rather it be a throw in, it's being a corner kick. It must have just brushed the corner flag on the way out before heading out over the fences, and it will be the second corner that Scarborough have had tonight.
Yeah, they haven't looked too secure on corners, Kidderminster. The first one they looked a little bit loose with the marking. It's a ball that went right round the back stick, and I think there was a chance there for Thornton, who came in, but just need to try and make a little bit more of it if they can.
Well, looking at how deep they're set up in that 6-yard box, there's 8 in navy blue, including the goalkeeper, so make it 9. Picking up just 4 players as Wileggi and Thornton break from the back post. In it swung towards the goal line. Thornton came for it, leaped at it before the goalkeeper cleared it away, and Dibble now with Colville, right wing position. He will swing it in. Thornton stayed forward. He jumps for it with Folks. Just misses it to his left hand side, but the final touch comes off the Harriers defender. So third corner of the night, and as you said, Neil Redfern, they haven't dealt with either set piece so far efficiently.
No, and it's good second phase as well from Scarborough. They drop on everything that's coming from, that's half cleared or cleared from the Kidderminster back line, and they force another corner. It's good play.
A mix-up of the set pieces, however. More of a bus stop formation, 5 in a line, all looking to peel away. In the ball swings, looking for Wileggi's touch. Oh, hits the post! And away by Kidderminster Harriers. Waldron will collect 30 yards from goal, swings it in from deep. A flick by Hemmings, but this one should run through harmlessly, however, for Dibble. But Wileggi looks second best in the air, but got a solid connection clattering into the right-hand post from 8 yards. 0-0 it remains.
Yeah, it's a great header, to be fair, because he's right in amongst all them blue shirts. And he climbs brilliantly and gets his head onto it. It's the closest we've come through a goal so far.
6 goals in all competitions so far this season. Not bad for someone who's been playing primarily as a defender, whether as a right back or a centre half. As now Whitley gives it a big boot away. Not a lot of movement in midfield. Green has to peel off from a wide area. He's come from an offside position as well. Even though Kidderminster put it out of play next to Phil Brown's technical area, the offside flag is raised, and Scarborough probably take that, as Richards will leave this one for the defence to deal with. Phil Brown, with the Premier League experience as a manager with Hull City, number 2 to Sam Allardyce at Bolton Wanderers as well. He knows the top end of the
I'm not sure.
league's offside flag goes up against Fulks. It was a flick on by Morgan Smith. Linesman was certain in his decision.
He seemed to time his run really well there, Joe Fulks. Just came from behind it in that right wing back position. It's a great little touch, to be fair, from Amari Morgan Smith, just to find him on his run. But I think the linesman got that one wrong. They got away with one there, Scarborough.
Well, Whitley will take this free kick outside his box. Alfreton 1, Brackley Town 0 is the scoreline just before the 15-minute mark. And Chester have doubled their advantage against Leamington away from home as well. They were started so well in the National League North, just seemed to be losing their rhythm, even with their home form, which was strong earlier in the season. Wiles collects in the middle of the Kidderminster half. Neat footwork from Dom Tier. Back through to Wiles. Wide now it goes towards Alex Brown. Back to Perver, 30 from goal to the left. Now back to Colville and Brown. They combine together. Brown's just lost his footing, however, as he's advanced in the left wing position. Kidderminster look to clear. Perver, solid tackle, taking the ball off Hemmings, but then Reynolds comes in, and now a 2v2, make it 3 because Couillard's joining in the fun. Couillard, the York loanee, saved by Whitley, and then onto the post and in. That's poor goalkeeping. He should have done better, and the Minster man on loan has hurt Scarborough Athletic. After 17 minutes, the side in the playoff places lead by 1-0 with their first real shot in anger, Neil Redfern. Yeah,
it's a fantastic break, to be fair. A little bit of fortune in it because he nearly got something on it, Will Thornton, the initial challenge, but it's a good break again in midfield. Kellerman getting onto it, driving with it, and just squaring the ball across. And the first touch is magnificent. It's a great finish, no backlift.
Should the keeper have done better?
Yeah, he got a hand to it and he got across to it, but it just seemed to squirm underneath him, Ryan Whitley, and he won't want to see that back again, I would have thought.
Well, 1-0 the scoreline then. Phil Brown's National League North promotion chasing Kidderminster Harriers. Even though they haven't had shots, they've certainly asked the questions tonight. They've been definitely aggressive.
I think one of the other things as well is I think Scarborough's been a victim of having probably the majority of possession, because when they have looked dangerous, Kidderminster, is when they've broke. They've looked a little bit light at the back, by putting people forward, Scarborough.
Yeah, sometimes this season Kidderminster Harriers have had joy playing out of possession rather than having much of the ball and just taking advantage of errors from their opposition. As the ball has gone forward towards Wiles in the penalty area, brought down by Colville. Neat touch by Brown, chipping one in. Colville's header! An immediate response for Scarborough Athletic. They say you are your most vulnerable when you've just scored, and that has come to fruition as Luca Colville, free header, 6 yards from a lovely dinked delivery from Alex Brown. Scarborough Athletic on social media have only just posted the Kidderminster goal. Get typing, boys, it's 1-1.
Yeah, fantastic goal, great run by Alex Brown, and he just has a little look before putting the ball in the box, and he picks his man out superbly well, and it's a great header, to be fair, from Colville, running and climbing and finding the corner of the goal. So great header, great response from Scarborough Athletic.
Just 60 seconds between the two goals, and Scarborough Athletic, immediate response. Jonathan Greening looks unmoved, but I imagine Phil Brown will be inside devastated that his team have switched off and allowed Alex Brown in particular in that left wing position to just take a big darting run and set a crossing of that nature as they go long from the kickoff. 1-1 then, 2 goals in 2 minutes. Could we see more despite having not many shots as Tier looks to find Colville again. Colville got a couple against Tibbs as Welledji gives chase to Kidderminster Harriers, trying to find their Hemmings, but Welledji just plants it out of play. 1-1 the scoreline then here at Scarborough Sports Village. A relief really around the place. 19 minutes gone. But Kidderminster Harriers looking to now immediately respond themselves, as Richards has the ball in hand. Haven't seen much from David Davis yet in the centre of midfield. The ball hasn't really been near him, as Richards links up with Hemmings. Good footwork near Kuyar, but now it's going to be Harry Green to try and bring the ball away. A little trip from Kellerman, who's not happy at the decision, has a word with Ben Robinson as he walks past him, but that will just bring some respite for Scarborough Athletic defensively.
Yeah, he did well there, Harry Green, because what he did, he bought the challenge. Initially he got himself in there really quickly and pinched it away and just felt the challenge coming in, went down, won his side a free kick. It's good play. It's been a really evenly balanced game. Both sides really bright on the counter-attack. It's about the organisation at the back now for both sides.
Ryan Whitley booming the ball away. And just a little bit of quick changes of possession. Header out from Kidderminster. Quarter of the way we're approaching of this match. Waldron collects. Haven't really seen him go on the scamper down the right hand side yet, as Perver plays back towards Willeji. Wiles back to Whitley outside his box. That one has gone flying up into the air. It's landing towards the touchline on this near side. And Ryan Whitley, who perhaps could have done more, or just maybe got a little bit unlucky with the ball being pushed onto the post and then into the back of the net. And now Kidderminster showing a bit of complacency right in front of Phil Brown. Richards taking a throw in. Davis trying to side-foot it back to him and kicking it straight out of play.
Yeah, I think to be fair, the tempo of the game's white hot, to be honest with you. You know, it's what you'd expect. Two sides, you know, that have got good legs in midfield. They can get about the pitch and close down. Both sides are at it.
Waldron with the throw-in down the line. Solid header that time by Davis, but the ball's coming straight back. Green, he'll play to Colville. There are appeals for a handball. The referee tried to offer an advantage, but now they're going to bring it back, and this is just north of 30 yards from goal to the right of the D. And Scarborough Athletic have a chance again to test the mettle of this Kidderminster Harriers side, who set piece-wise, as we've made reference to, have looked a little bit unsteady. Yeah,
there's a nice angle on this for Alex Perver. It's maybe 15 yards from the edge of the box, slightly to the right of Kidderminster's penalty area, but he puts good ball in, Alex Perver. You've seen from his corners that they're dangerous.
Kidderminster defence spread out along that 18-yard line. Perver right-footed, looking to deliver to one of six who wait around the 18-yard line in red and white. Up goes the left arm of Alex Perver. Colville and Waldron aren't really involved in this, and still Perver waits. Now he will deliver with a bit of pace. A couple of players going down inside the box, and Richie Bennett is getting in a real tangle on the deck with Rhys McNally. Now they're back up on their feet as Scarborough keep coming forward, and now Brown goes down, and it's going to be a free kick rather than a penalty. Scarborough are absolutely incensed, and a yellow card comes out. It was on that occasion Harry Green who'd moved across from the right hand side to the left. Not for the first time this season he's adjudged to have been booked for diving, when maybe he should have had a penalty. Neil Redfern, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the referee might have got that one right, to be honest with you. I mean, he did ever so well. He almost got free of his two markers. If he could have just stayed on his feet, he's in the box. You know, and if there is an awkward challenge that comes in and he goes down genuinely, then the referee's got a decision to make. But that looked an easy one for the referee, to be honest with you. But he is a threat down this side, Alex Brown. No two ways about it. We know he's got the quality. If you can get him on the ball in crossing positions, he puts great ball in.
Well, just apologies for any bad language you may have detected from those below us in the stand. Jonathan Greening and Phil Brown had a word with each other there. Bit of finger pointing, a bit of gesturing, so it's getting a little bit more heated. Not just on the pitch, but on the sidelines as well. And Harry Green needs to shrug it off now, as Ben Robinson made the call, was very confident in his decision. He blew straight away, and he was positioned on the edge of the penalty area, so he had a clear view of it, as now Hemmings is judged to be offside. The fifth time I count that Kidderminster have been offside tonight. 1-1, 23 minutes gone here, and this game has pretty much everything so far, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, there's a little bit of spice to it as well, which is good. You know, both sides are desperate for the 3 points. Just going back to that back four, that line that Scarborough have kept, they've done ever so well. They've been so brave, because You know, there's real pace in this front three of Kidderminster, but they've done it really well. They've caught them offside numerous occasions.
Perver now for Wiles, who just loses possession, and Davis looks to play one out towards the right hand side. Morgan Smith this time on the run. He runs out of room, runs out of pitch before he can get onto the ball. The number 9 for Kidderminster Harriers, who's over 200 appearances at National League North level. 52 goals for Harriers, another former York City man. It was for a short period in 2017-18. Scored 8 in 46 when he was in that part of the county. Kuyar trying to push it through for Hemmings. Neat football from Kidderminster again. Kuyar now sprinting down the left to the edge of the area. It's now Waldron. He will take a shot on. It's deflected and blocked. It spirals up in the air inside the box. And now Scarborough look to bring it away. Domtier with a good little touch to get up to speed as he tries to run at that back three. Davis loses the ball under his own possession. Waldron now looking to bend one forward up towards Domtier, headed out of play in front of Jonathan Greening's technical area, and Scarborough Athletic look a bit more inspired having found that equaliser, and fair play to them for finding it so quickly. Yeah, and to be fair, you know, they probably started the better of the two sides. They did come into it a little bit more as the game warmed up, but Kidderminster, but they deserve to be level for me. I mean, they've been the side that's been in the ascendancy. They played some good stuff. They've got some really good crossing positions, and they look menacing from set plays. Thornton nods it out of play. A throw-in for Kidderminster Harriers, and they want to get on with it quickly as Hemmings now drops it back towards Kuyar. Hemmings, who's moved over to this left wing position, with Kuyar now looking to peel inside. Hemmings goes down the left, low ball into the area, and it's easily gobbled up by Ryan Whitley, who rolls it out now to Alex Brown. Reynolds gives chase, but Brown with a solid touch dances past halfway, now up towards Domtier, who again, solid touch from him. Green in acres of space on the right wing. He's found now by Tier. Waldron on the overlap, good build-up play from Scarborough. Green will now find Waldron, maybe should have played it to him earlier. Waldron's now got to try and carve out a cross. He does so towards that goal line, and caught very easily by Dibble as Kidderminster bring it away. 1-1 the score. Yeah, he should have given it earlier, James. I mean, he did ever so well initially. To be fair, Harry Green drew the man in. He just needed to slip that ball off to Waldron of his making his run past, and he'd have been in clear. McNally, former teammate of Will Thornton at Guiseley, bringing the ball out of the defence. Now for Reynolds. Perver, energetic in the midfield, goes on the press, so it's played back towards Dibble, who clears away. He left it very late because Richie Bennett was on the squeeze, and the clearance away. Head tennis ensues, and then Perver brings it down, spots Brown on the left midfield position, and forward he goes. Low ball into the box. It's not cleared efficiently. Domtier takes an air swipe at it, and now Kidderminster clear away. They are under pressure here, the visitors. They're not used to this kind of ferocity from those in the opposition colours, but Scarborough Athletic at the moment are the ones who look more likely to score. But are Kidderminster Harriers now going to sting on the counter as Kuyar, left wing area, Waldron holds on to his feet. Green is there to join him. Kuyar into the box, comes to the byline, draws a corner kick as Waldron sensed the opportunity to go in and try and take the ball, but just decided to be resistant. Yeah, definitely a threat on this side, Kuyar. 3 or 4 occasions now we've seen him dance past players, but marshalled well there, but at the expense of a corner. He's on corner duty now from our left hand side in front of the Kidderminster Harriers supporters, attacking the swimming pool end. In it comes Hemmings with a touch. Now McNally back to goal, trying to work it back out wide. Scarborough sloppy in clearing it away. They've tried to clear, but Kuyar will collect on the byline, brings it down away from Domtier, sets across to the back post. 2 in navy blue are trying to scramble it home here, and it will eventually go in. Morgan Smith has wormed it through. How it's gone through, I do not know. Inside the 6-yard box. Morgan Smith over to the Scarborough supporters on the far side. They did not deal with it accordingly there, Scarborough Athletic. Thornton's calling for calm. A little inquest ensues, and Morgan Smith has put Kidderminster back in front. Scarborough 1, Kidderminster Harriers 2. Yeah, it's a little bit of a scrappy affair at the far post. I mean, the initial play from Kuyar is magnificent. It's a ball that's really poorly cleared, and it's gone sky in the hair. But his first touch is brilliant. Kuyar gets it down, dances his way to his right-hand side, just clips a ball to the back stick. And they just got out-muscled, basically, Scarborough at the back stick, and it's Morgan Smith who has the final touch to find the back of the net. Well, it's his 109th career goal, and He now goes into double figures for the campaign, 10 goals for him.
Just looking at Will Thornton, James, and I think he feels just a little bit aggrieved that he might have been held, before the ball was put in the back of the net. There's a couple of big centre-backs up there as well from the corner. Made it difficult for him.
Didn't see anything clear-cut at the moment, but then the referee is much lower down than we are here in the top of the main stand. 2-1 now to Kidderminster Harriers, and Scarborough Athletic trying to work the trick again of being able to get forward quickly as Brown sets up an opportunity for a long throw-in, and there's 6, make it 7 inside the penalty area, so aggressive. Morgan Smith there back amongst the defensive work of the set piece. Hemmings and Kuyar stay forward. Brown trying to summon all that strength for a long throw-in, and it will be flicked on towards the 6-yard box. Dibble clears away. Now comes to Wiles, and Thornton back wide towards Green. His touch isn't the best, but he should keep it in play at the byline. Low ball in, looking for Colville, who can't trap it. And now Kidderminster Harriers will clear away. Thornton, immediate returned ball towards the box, headed down by the visitors, and then they can't scramble, Kidderminster Harriers, and then Reynolds has to head it out of play for a throw-in from this right-hand touchline.
Yeah, it's not been convincing, the defending. I mean, this has got to give Scarborough some hope, to get themselves back on parity, because they're well in this game. There's no two ways about it. I mean, there's obvious quality in there up front for Kidderminster. We've seen that, but they don't like being put under pressure, and that is exactly what Scarborough have done to them.
You're listening to BBC Radio York as Waldron takes the long throw-in, a flick by Thornton, who had 3 around him in navy blue. They clear away eventually. Hemmings on halfway, just loses his footing as then Brown comes in, tries to push it through but immediately dispossessed. Hemmings has a pocket of space to use on this near side touchline to Reynolds. Plenty back for Scarborough Athletic. Reynolds now corner of the area towards the left hand side, sets it to the edge of the area. Davis might fancy it. Davis just stepping away from 1 or 2 challenges, out to Folks, into the area, and then headed away by Scarborough Athletic, and Kellerman booms the ball out of play for a throw-in over on the far side touchline.
Yeah, great defensive header by Alex Brown. He had to put his head in there, brave, to be honest with you. It's a decent ball in from Kidderminster. They're just starting to grow into this game now, Kidderminster, since the second goal as well, and playing with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more freedom. They've got some really good players in the side. I mean, we've mentioned Cunha quite a bit in commentary so far, and also in midfield they've been absolutely excellent. Great legs, they can get about, close down, they put the foot in, they can pass it, but they've matched them, Scarborough. It's been a great game of football.
It has. Kidderminster might be about to make an enforced change, however, because down on the right hand side, a injured player, looks like it could be Kellerman who's down at the moment for Kidderminster Harriers. Just to tell you what's going on elsewhere, it's Alfreton 1, Brackley Town 2 now, and Chester lead at the moment as well by 2-0, and it's 2-1 here. 0-0 at the moment between Chorley and Peterborough Sports, as Phil Brown has got 3 of his players over, Kuyar, Hemmings and David Davis, getting some messages out to the most experienced players on the pitch, barring Morgan Smith as well. And they lead by 2-1. They know that there's been times where maybe they haven't been as well drilled as the opposition, but that experience drives you through so readily, doesn't it, Neil Redfern?
Yeah, definitely. I think that what they've shown is like a resilience when Scarborough are really at it in these opening exchanges. It didn't look good, it didn't look nice from Kidderminster, but it did the job. It was resolute and just kept them at clean sheets initially, but it could be anything this game. I mean, both sides have had really good chances.
Has got a whiff of Darlington Scarborough about it in terms of goals. Colville trying to make a through ball happen as it's again pushed away, but coming straight back, Colville with a ball into the box. Kidderminster Harriers' clearances have been pretty poor in this first half, as Perver now plays the ball to Wiles, who returns it. Low ball in, in. Tom Tier was arriving unmarked. I was expecting him to just tap it into the back of the net, but Dibble pounces on it, pushes it away inside his 6-yard box. Green, however, wants to keep the attacking flow. Just misses out to Davis, who wins the ball back, clears it away down the line, and linesman has put his flag up for a throw-in. It will go quite far back into the visitors' half as Waldron will collect. But that was a great run by Dom Tier, and the ball was almost perfect, but the goalkeeper neutralises the threat.
Yeah, and he can only do what he did there, to be fair. I mean, it's a fantastic ball, like you say, James.
Colville to Waldron again, going for that low ball route. Blocked by Downing on this occasion. Cleared away. Perver looks to gather around the centre circle area. Hemmings looks a bit unsteady in possession as he has to stutter back towards his defensive lines, who are outside of the box. Cleared by McNally. Then Brown with a solid header. Colville and Tier, they exchange possession quickly. Played forward down the right hand side. Morgan Smith into Hemmings now, who's probably seen most of the ball, but then those around him in the front line, in Kuyar and Morgan Smith, they've both bagged a goal tonight. Morgan Smith concedes a free kick. Looked like he almost rugby tackled his man to the floor there. Alex Wiles getting back to his feet, dusting himself off.
Yeah, I tell you what has been really impressive with Morgan Smith is his awareness of his striking partners around him, Hemmings in particular, and Reynolds when he comes from midfield. He's found them on countless occasions. Balls have gone into him and he's just left the ball into the path. It's good hold-up play.
Well, he tries to hold it up for those around him again as he tries to flick it through towards Hemmings. Ryan Whitley gives it a big heave-ho. Looking for Harry Green on this occasion. Ben Robinson getting close to the action. Perver with the ball over the top. Flag stays down against Harry Green. His touch there takes him towards the right hand touchline. He'll now look to work his way back in with a little step or two past Caleb Richards. Tries to cross in. Good following there from Richards. Didn't allow Green away, and a throw in is what's conceded, but they'll take that in the circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tricky customer, Harry Green. I think he's done a decent job on him so far. Caleb Richards has not had much joy on that right hand side.
Throw in from Waldron, as this time Wiles loses possession, lost it quite cheaply, allowed Davis to take it off him very quickly, and now Kidderminster try and unleash Davis towards the left hand side, but Thornton across easily, and Whitley with a poor clearance away. He's probably seen that ball travel only 15 yards forward, up into the air and out for a throw in. He just looks a bit shaky tonight,
yeah,
Ryan Whitley, for me.
I was just going to say, James, since the goal, the first goal, sorry, his 2 or 3 of his clearances have been a bit hurried, a bit rushed, a little bit more time than what he thinks.
Well, you can have your say on BBC Radio York to any individual performance if you are listening in with us tonight or watching. It's 81333 on the text message and 08000 321 333 via WhatsApp. Just make sure you start your messages with the word York. You can tweet us as well on social media, Channel X. You just find us at BBC York Sport. Phil Brown not happy with the decision down in front of us, as it looked like it had deflected off a Scarborough man out for a throw-in. However, they don't do much with it. To Scarborough, Waldron down this right-hand side, sees the ball go through towards Kuyar. Morgan Smith then trying to work it through. However, cleared away by the Sea Dogs. We're into the latter stages of this first half. Plenty of action though that we've been treated to. 3 goals. Kidderminster Harriers though hold the advantage. 2-1 is the scoreline at the moment. Could be worse though, because Kidderminster have won back possession. Hemmings was switched onto it as Reynolds tried to then run forward, but the linesman has judged the number 10 to be offside.
Yeah, got it spot on there, the linesman. Just lazy play by Hemmings, because he does brilliant there initially. Reynolds gets onto it quick. It's been really bright in midfield. He's been a standout for me, him in midfield. I think he's been outstanding for the visitors, but just lazy play from Kidderminster striker.
Long ball forward, and Bennett has gone over from Downing's contact.
Well, do you know what, James? I'm surprised that is the first one, because he's been ragged about, to be fair to him, Big Richie Bennett, and he's kept his cool. You know, the 2 centre backs are trying to rough him up a bit. He's played ever so well for me. I mean, he's held the ball well, there's been 2 or 3 occasions where he's been fouled and the referee's just turned a blind eye.
Well, Bennett going over, and I think you would definitely see that decision being given. The way that he was just pulled to the ground, it wasn't the most aggressive of tussles.
No, but it's a foul, isn't it?
It is a foul.
Yeah.
You would certainly see that. Certainly around the halfway line or in a wide area, perhaps. This is 20 yards out, right in the centre, in perfect shooting range. Won't be at all surprised if Phil Brown or any of the players after the game would be aggrieved if Scarborough Athletic do something with this. This to make it 2-2. Great opportunity. Colville over it. Green is interested as well. Thought he should have had a penalty earlier on in his mind, but instead booked for diving. Low sock height, looks very focused. He will strike it. Oh, magnificent! Piercing finish from Harry Green, like an arrow, which swerved into the centre of the goal. It completely deceived and bamboozled Dibble, and Scarborough Athletic have found another equaliser. 2-2.
Well, what a fantastic strike from Harry Green. Struck it beautifully right through the centre of the ball, and the swerve just deceived Christian Dibble. I mean, he won't be happy with that, the goalkeeper. That's gone right in the middle of the goal, but it's the swerve on it that's gone past him that's beat him.
He's knuckled it delightfully into the back of the net, and as you say there, Neil Redfern, he's caught that as sweet as a nut. That, for anyone who wants to learn to take a free kick, hit it as clean as you can in the centre of the ball and you'll get joy of that nature.
But it just shows you, I mean, as soon as he's gone the wrong way, Dibble, he can't get back because the pace on it is so great that, you know, he's got no chance, the goalkeeper.
Might be on an artificial surface, but his footwork for that was reminiscent maybe of being stuck in the mud on a farmyard with those donkeys over there. I knew I'd get them in at some point, Redders. They're not spectating tonight, they're all tucked up in there. What do you call a house for a donkey? Well, never mind,
shed.
We'll move on. Just a shed. There's a throw-in for Scarborough Athletic. A little stable. Oh, donkey talk here on BBC Radio York. Suddenly, though, Scarborough move on. And Colville with a through ball to Green, but he's judged to be offside. Immediately, Jimmy Beadle is having a word with the linesman. So too Jonathan Greening to the 4th official.
That's got to be close, you know, because he's come from his own half. Harry Green there, who's in more of a central position. It's a straight ball and a straight line run. The 2 big centre halves just missed it altogether.
Well, Kidderminster have been told about the positioning of the free kick, but Ben Robinson has now been summoned over by the 4th official as Jonathan Greening or Jimmy Beadle said too much. Ben Robinson makes his way over and immediately peers towards the home dugout. The 4th official has now summoned over Jimmy Beadle, and it's going to be a yellow card for the assistant coach in his combination of bobble hat but also of shorts and ankle socks all seasons, and probably said way too much to the linesman, who he came out and spoke to him straight away quite aggressively. You can't go near the 4th, you can't go near the linesman, you can't go near the 4th official. And a booking for Mr. Beadle. He's probably had a few of them in his time as a player. Don't think he would have expected to get many as a coach. Do you think he's got a case?
Yeah, look, it's passion, you know, and it just needs channeling in the right direction. I don't know what he said, obviously.
Are you telling me you're not a lip reader? Floated forward by Kidderminster Harriers. Kuyar with a back heel keeps it in play. Waldron clears down the line. It took a deflection this time off Kellyman, and it will be a throw-in for Scarborough Athletic. Had plenty of goal-mouth action again tonight. There's been goals tonight across the National League North. Alfreton 1, Brackley 3, Leamington 0, Chester 3. You never want to lose a game 3-0. You don't want to be 3-0 down at home, and 4 goals split evenly here as we are into the 42nd minute. Maziar Kuyar in the 15th minute got everything going with a shot which was squirmed into the net by Ryan Whitley, saving onto his post and then in. Literally a minute later, Luca Colville up the other end on the end of an Alex Brown cross to make it 1-1. Amari Morgan Smith in scrappy fashion bundling in from close range. And then in the 39th minute, the pick of the bunch, Harry Green, 20 yards out, free kick like an arrow into the back of the net. So money's worth definitely being had tonight from those who've come through the gates this evening on this cold but much milder Tuesday evening in comparison to what we've just had. Nursing Will Thornton and Morgan Smith just having a little word with each other as they head out of the penalty area.
Yeah, well, he did ever so well there, the big centre back. He just shepherded it out, and I don't think Emmons was too happy, but he just got out muscled, to be fair.
That's a better kick from Ryan Whitley. Bennett's gone over. It looks like he was maybe just trying to bargain there with the linesman and try and draw him into a foul that probably wasn't one. Little flick on in midfield from Scarborough as Bennett now clashes with Richards. That one was an honest coming together according to the officials, nothing given. As Kuyar plays to Kellerman on this left side of midfield, just inside the Scarborough half. He's working his way back to halfway. Now plays towards McNally. Not the best of touches, but it got the job done as he plays now towards Kellerman. And Bennett suddenly taking up a right midfield position out of nowhere and going hunting the ball. Morgan Smith, played. Neat flick on. Now for David Davis into the penalty area. Strong touch to the byline, tries to cross in. And Thornton will just hassle as Davis goes crashing into one of the sponsor boards in front of those Kidderminster Harriers fans, and it will be a corner kick. It's fair to say, Neil Redfern, there's maybe 3 or 4 fans in front of us who are certainly having words not just with the players, who are having a giggle in the Kidderminster dugout, but there's a bit of aggression being had. And there's Kuya will whip the ball in, and it's followed up by Ryan Whitley.
That'll do Ryan Whitley good.
It will, and he's immediately tried to get Harry Green on his way. It's a well-weighted ball forward. Green shoving with Folks, and now a free kick goes the way this occasion of Kidderminster Harriers. And Harry Green just having a word with the referee, and Ben Robinson is now calling both players over. I
have to say, the referee Ben Robinson, if he gives the free kick to Scarborough, he's got a problem there. He's always going to give it to Kidderminster because he's last man, the Kidderminster player.
You're absolutely correct.
And no, that would have been a red card, but he got himself nicely off the hook there, the referee.
We're about to see the minutes of added time that are about to be given. I would imagine there'll be maybe 2 minutes, given there was that one stoppage. Maybe make it 3 according to the fourth officials board that we can just see peering down towards the dugout areas. Dom Tier again tonight, just not seen too much of him, have we? Yes, he's gone about his business maybe a little quieter than usual, but yeah, to see more of him in the penalty area.
I know what you mean. I think as a team though, I think they've really performed. I do. I think, you know, they're really great work ethic. You know, they really cover the yards for Jono. You know, they're really invested in it as a team. You know, and yeah, he has been a little bit quiet because we've seen him have some really outstanding games.
Kuyar looking to try and move it through. Morgan Smith, though, being held by Thornton, but
good battle, that, isn't it?
It was a good battle. I'm enjoying their battle tonight between the number 5 and 9. As Ryan Whitley will pick the ball up. As him in his green kit will take a bounce in front of Morgan Smith and now sends the ball booming away towards the right hand side. Difficult one to pluck out. No surprise that Richards won the contest in the left back area. The ball being boomed away by those in navy blue. It will run all the way through towards Ryan Whitley. Hemmings will close it down all the way, but easy for the goalkeeper to take. Leamington down to 10 men now as well, and a nightmare of a first half for them as we approach half-time. Premier League action as well tonight, and National League action. Sharon Shortle will run you through the scores in full at half-time and at full-time tonight here on BBC Radio York. And remember, have your say, 81333 and 08000 on WhatsApp. Just make sure you start your messages with the word York. Waldron will have a throw in front of Jonathan Greening's technical area. 3 minutes of added time, so I would envisage this might be the final attack of the half, maybe. Cleared away by Harriers, and Hemmings tries to work it around to Kellerman. Immediately returned by Scarborough as Colville comes across his man and now gets the free kick. And Ben Robinson took an awful long time to make the decision, hence why Jonathan Greening's scowl has turned to a smile, and Phil Brown has a smile on his face, but it's more of hysteria at the decision. This will be the final chance of the half.
Yeah, I think they just need to calm down a little bit. Both benches Yeah, you understand it because it's passion, and but I think, look, the players have managed it really well. You know, it's been really, really competitive, ultra competitive, but, you know, no malice in any challenges, just good, strong, hard tackles, what you like to see.
Perver from this right-hand side then, 35 yards out, swings one in towards Richie Bennett. Little touch by Tia. Willedgie not close enough to get a contact around the 6-yard line. And as Dibble boots this ball away, the tunnel area has been brought out. And Dibble looking ahead to try and boot this ball away. And it's a poor one as well, as Dom Tier nobs it into the ground on the halfway line. Now for Fulks, who tries to swing it forwards. Hemmings has the ball in his chest. Reynolds has got away from Alex Wiles, who lost his footing down the right-hand side. Hemmings now, Morgan Smith and Kuyar making their way into the box. Hasn't really got the angle to cross, as Reynolds now gets bumped into, and Scarborough now looking to launch a counter-attack, but they've run out of time here in the first 45 minutes. Action-packed here, Neil Redfern, in the first half. 4 goals, split 2-2. We've been well treated to this contest.
Yeah, and I think the equal parity is fair. If I'm honest, I think that Scarborough have probably been the better of the two sides in general play. But I think they've shown the quality of Kidderminster.
Well, it was Kuyar who got the goal scoring flowing after 15 minutes, only to be cancelled out 60 seconds later by Luca Colville. Morgan Smith, with his 10th of the season, put Kidderminster back in front. That was their best moments really for Kidderminster Harriers, where they had the scruff hold of the game. Scarborough responded, though, a free kick on the edge of the area, smashed in by Harry Green, means at half time we've seen plenty of goal mouth action and plenty of goals. Scarborough Athletic 2, Kidderminster Harriers 2.
Thanks, Fletch. Thanks as well, Neil Redfern. More to come from them in the second half of this match here on BBC Radio York. It will continue on all frequencies this evening and online. The only commentary we've got to bring you. So wherever you want to listen, you can find it tonight on FM, on DAB, or through BBC Sounds or bbc.co.uk/Radio York. If you're a Scarborough Athletic fan, tell us what you thought of that first half. You can text us on 81333. Please start your message with the word York if that's how you want to get in touch with us. Likewise, if you contact us on WhatsApp, 08000 321 333. Again, please start that message with the word York, or you can contact us through Twitter. You can tweet us or X us, however it's said these days, at BBC York Sport, and we'll have a look at what you've got to say.
BBC Radio York Sport.
Let's see how things stand across the country then. Fair few games going on this evening in a fair few competitions as well, it seems. In the Premier League, some of these were 7:30 kick-offs, so into the second half. Brentford 0, Manchester City 0 is the second half scoreline. It's the latest. So is Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0, West Ham 2, Fulham 0. The 8 o'clock kick-off, Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool 0. That's after 38 minutes gone in that game, so still playing in the first half in that. Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool 0. In the Championship at half-time, it's Cardiff 0, Watford 0, Plymouth 0, Oxford United 1. In League One, there was one game due to be on, but that was postponed because Mansfield, who were due to be Exeter's opponents, are still in the FA Cup. Some replays this evening, or games that were called off at the weekend, I should say, that's being played tonight. Leyton Orient 1, Derby 1 is a half-time score. It's Mansfield 0, Wigan 0, and Preston 1, Charlton 1. Moving through then, some games in the National League tonight as well. Aldershot 2, Braintree 2. Altrincham 4, Maidenhead 0. Ebbsfleet 0, Yeovil 1. Forest Green 0, Barnet 0. York City fans will be keeping an eye on that one. And possibly as well, Gateshead 0, Halifax 2. And it's also Solihull Moors 0, Eastleigh 1 at half-time in the National League. And in National League North this evening, Alfreton 2, Brackley Town 3. Brackley have had a man sent off. Chorley 0, Peterborough Sports 0. Leamington 0, Chester 4. Leamington are also down to 10 men as well. And as we've been hearing, it's Scarborough Athletic 2, Kidderminster 2. So that brings you up to date with the games that are going on, full stop, really, this evening. Some games are off. There were some local matches due to take place this evening in the Northern Counties East League. Pickering Town due to travel to Golka United in the Premier Division. That game postponed. Likewise in Division 1, Harrogate's scheduled game against Shelley. That one also postponed as well. The weather thawing out, still frozen in patches, you name it, frozen pitches, waterlogged pitches, still affecting games around the country, certainly at this end of the country it seems. So both those games off tonight for Pickering Town and Harrogate Railway. So second half commentary to come then here on BBC Radio York at half time. It's Scarborough Athletic 2, Kidderminster Harriers 2.
Georgie Spanswick at breakfast.
BBC Radio York.
What is going to be your gladiator name? I'm Spanners, as always.
Mine would be probably Veggie. I think that characterises me.
Can I just say, we've got Sabre, we've got Giant, we've got Steel, we've got Comet, and now we've got Veggie.
Well, at least they're not expecting a big bulky bloke. They know they're going to. They know what they get.
I can see you in a leotard, though. I'm very excited by that. You'd look gorgeous.
Georgie Spanswick at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio York.
Let's turn to rugby union for a few minutes, and Maro Itoje will lead England into the upcoming Six Nations after replacing Jamie George as captain. George has been in charge since the 2023 World Cup, but will now be vice-captain alongside Ellis Genge, with his Saracens teammate Itoje taking on the role on a permanent basis for the first time. England head coach Steve Borthwick has been explaining the decision to the BBC's rugby union correspondent Chris Jones.
As ever with those decisions, there's always a number of factors to consider, and I'll also say you need, in any really good team I've been involved in, you have a number of excellent leaders, and I think we're really developing that within this squad. And Maro's a guy that I think everyone can see he's a world-class player, incredible professional, everybody has immense respect for, and I feel that we're really developing a good depth of leadership in the squad.
You've known Murray for a long time, coming through at Sarries and then coaching him with England, made his debut in 2016. He's now 30, 88 England caps. Why do you think this is the time, as opposed to at any point in the last 7 or 8 years when he's been an England player?
Yeah, no, I think one of the considerations is certainly the players. I think the other considerations around is the team and what the team needs at any one point in time. And as head coach, you're always thinking this, you're always chatting through with your coaching team about what the team needs, and you're spending time considering it. And I think it's clearly there's many factors, and you look at Maro there. You mentioned about the number of caps. I think Maro started, of all the games he started, started 84, 86 games. He's only ever come off twice, which is an incredible figure for a player. And he's a guy I've a lot of respect for. He's a guy I've seen really develop, and I see him. All the players in the squad have a lot of respect for this man.
Because with Jamie, no doubt he led the side very well through 2024, but often was coming off before the hour mark. Was that a consideration that you'll have a captain in Maro who will play the full 80 minutes?
It's one of the considerations, and I think if you asked any coach, I think every coach's preference would be that the captain's there for 80 minutes. It's not the only consideration, and sometimes that's not possible, and it doesn't happen. And there's plenty of examples that show the other way, where it's worked with captains not playing 80. But I think that would generally be the preference. And yeah, as I say, it's one of the factors I considered.
How did Jamie react when you told him?
I think Jamie clearly disappointed, as anybody would be. And Jamie's captained the team really well his last 12 months, but the thing about Jamie, and I've known Jamie for a very long time. I think he's a wonderful rugby player and a fantastic person, and the character of him, he's always put the team first, and that was the nature of the conversation and the reaction. Disappointment, but always putting the team first.
And just finally on the captaincy, how will the England team look different under Maro Itoje compared to under Jamie George?
Yeah, well, I think there'll be a whole lot of consistency, and I think whenever you're with a team and you're developing a team through a period, there is always a gradual evolution. There's always little changes along the way that navigate the way the team wants to go, be that tactically, physically, technically, the leadership, the environment, all these gradual changes. And what you're seeing, I think, through 2024 is a change in the England team, a change in the way the team plays, a change in the makeup of the team. You're seeing a lot of players come into the group, and clearly this group again, there's more changes in this. There's the start of this Six Nations here in 2025.
Okay, we're here at the stadium in Twickenham. You will have seen or heard and been across what's been going on in English rugby. How much of a distraction has that been for you with all that noise around English rugby?
I think for us and for the England team, our focus, as you'd expect it to be, is about the Six Nations that's coming up and the performances and how we get the performances and results that we want to get. That's where we are totally focused.
Yeah. Has any of it, we're maybe in a financial situation at the moment where every pound being spent is being scrutinised in all walks of life, not just rugby union. Is that then putting any pressure on what you're allowed to do as England head coach? Are you in any way being told, you've got to watch what you spend because of the financial climate?
Since we have, ever since I've come into this role 2 years ago, feel nothing but full support from the RFU about what we want to do, and the way I operate with my management team is to be really well planned about the programme that we want to put in place, and that's so much of our planning has been done previously.
Steve Borthwick, the England Rugby Union head coach, speaking to Chris Jones.
January can sometimes feel like this. Or this. Or this. But January's on BBC Radio York feel more like this. Every Monday at 7:45, I have a very special January pick-me-up competition. I'm giving you the chance to win a trip to Emmerdale and have a tour of the village with one of the stars of the show. To win, listen every Monday in January on BBC Radio York for my January pick-me-up competition.
BBC Radio York.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you about one of the many men. Name is irrelevant, height is irrelevant. He was a 1 out of 10, I wish that I knew it then. I'm still recovering, truly invulnerable. I love a sentiment, quickly I opened up. I learned my lesson then, thought I was safe again. Thought he was innocent, I was so wrong. I can't deny I was stuck in a daze, terrible phase. It was convincing though, very believable, the role that you played. So I'll take this front row seat, and baby, you could go ahead, cry those Oscar-winning tears, popcorn and ice cream. Baby, you could go ahead, cry those Oscar-winning tears, baby. Oh, what a tragedy, it didn't have to be. Look how you talk to me, cursing and blasphemy, cinematography. Get this on camera, please. Oh no, I'm gonna believe this. I can't deny I thought you were the man, that you were the plan. Who you lying for? Who you crying for? You did it again. So I'll take this front row seat, and baby, you could go ahead, cry those Oscar-winning tears, popcorn and ice cream. Baby, you could go ahead, cry those Oscar-winning tears. You can miss me with the boot, I can see right through your tears, baby. 9 o'clock entertainment. Oh man, I wish I could take you. Sit down, no tissues, no string section, no tiny violin. For the last time, I'm your audience. I'll take this front row seat, and baby, you can go ahead and cry those, baby, would you really go ahead, and would you go ahead and just cry those Oscar-winning tears, baby.
That's Ray. You're listening to BBC Radio York Sport on this Tuesday evening. It's 11 minutes to 9. If you want to contact us, we would love to hear from you. Tell us how you think Scarborough things are going, if Scarborough are your side this evening. You can contact us on Twitter at BBC York Sport, or X as it's referred to these days, or you can tweet us You can text us, on 81333. Please start your message with the word York. On WhatsApp, it's 08000 321 333. Again, please start those messages with the word York. If you don't, they just don't ever reach us and they float off into the ether. And we've had some very, very random comments by people that are doing that, meant for places elsewhere as time has gone by. Don't let that be you. Start your texts or WhatsApps with the word York if you want to get in touch with us. So it's a busy week ahead here on BBC Radio York. Plenty of action on Friday night. That's when Scarborough Athletic are next playing. They travel to Farsley. You can hear commentary of that one on Friday evening. Of course, Pete Spencer with you from 6 o'clock on Friday. The build-up in earnest starting at 7 o'clock. Scarborough on FM and on BBC Sounds. Harrogate Town also in action as well on Friday evening. They're taking on Cheltenham on Friday night, and that one will be on DAB. While on Saturday, it's York City against Sutton United, and you can hear that game wherever you like. Just as you can for this one this evening. Scarborough Athletic taking on Kidderminster Harriers in National League North. Kidderminster 4th in the table. Scarborough Athletic doing okay. It's 2-2 going into the second half. Let's get back and rejoin your commentary team there of Neil Redfern and James Fletcher.
Thanks, Sharon. You say they're doing okay. That is absolutely spot on against this playoff chasing, promotion chasing Kidderminster Harriers side, who have normally in the first half of matches this season been incredibly tight, only conceding 5 goals. Well, they've conceded 2 in one 45-minute period this evening, and they know how to score after the break, but will that happen again tonight? I think there's certainly more goals in this. Neil Redfern at half-time, you've gone with a bold prediction. You think this could end up being something like 5-5 the way we're going? Yeah, well, there's been chances, that's the thing, and both sides have looked a little bit iffy at the back at times, and that's just been the nature of the game. Not both sides have played poorly at the back, they're just, it's been really high intensity, really high tempo, ball speed, ball's been moved really quickly. So difficult for defences to get organised, and chances have been at a premium. Well, I think as well with Scarborough effectively playing a front three, when you're going up against 3 defenders of Kidderminster, they're happy to sacrifice space out wide. Yeah. But Harry Green has had joy, hasn't he? Yeah. I mean, he's grown into the game as it's gone on. He was a little bit quiet initially. After the first 10 minutes, he's been absolutely fantastic. His free kick was out of the top drawer. We're underway then. Scarborough are kicking towards the swimming pool end here at the Sports Village in this second period. They swapped round before kick-off as Davis of Kidderminster launches one up into the air. And once we get a safe opportunity to go through the teams, we will do so, as Davis tries to chip one in behind away from Alex Brown. Thornton comes across into the left back area and now tries to play it down the line, and it will be a throw-in. So the team for Scarborough tonight sees Alex Brown come back in, Alex Perver also. Whitley is the goalkeeper. From right to left, it's Waldron, Wileggi, Thornton and Brown. The midfield areas consist of Perver, Wiles, Colville, and then Tia, Green and Richie Bennett up front. New signing Bill Marshall is on the bench, Kieran Glynn there also, Cameron Wilson, and then youngster Callum Hudson and Matt Bancroft the substitute goalkeeper. Kidderminster Harriers have a free kick just inside their own half. Folks wearing 12. He's looked rapid down that right hand side, and he looks to have a decent touch of the ball as well, and he could be an issue for Scarborough Athletic in this second half, because he gets flying forward, and him and Reynolds have been a threat, as well as that very experienced front three that Kidderminster have got. And Reynolds is on his way now down the right hand side. Thornton again coming across into the left back position. Reynolds having a little stutter, sets it in away from Morgan Smith. Kuyar on the left wing was approaching. Ball goes behind him. Now comes to Caleb Richards, and now Kuyar to Richards, deep looking cross. Oh, it's over Thornton's head. Chance. And Hemmings has nodded it into the ground. He must have thought late there that he wasn't going to get this, and Thornton should have done much better. Yeah, should have scored. To be honest with you. Hemmings is, he's quite blind to it. His Thornton is square on, so he can't see the man behind him as the ball's coming in. It's poor defending, and he's got a free header at goal 6 yards out. I mean, he should have at least worked the goalkeeper, making him dive, but straight into his hands. So Kidderminster Harriers, they've got Dibble in goal, Folks, then McNally, Downing, and we'll just break there because Kidderminster are on the move. Reynolds trying to play it through, broken up by Brown. Richards on the left hand side, their midfield of experienced midfielder David Davis. Kellerman with Morgan Smith, Hemmings, Kuyar up front, and then Reynolds out wide as Scarborough get a free kick just inside their own half. 13 goals in the National League North in the first 45 minutes. 4 of them have come here. And Jonathan Greening not tempted to make any tweaks at half-time, neither has Phil Brown. Not necessarily just in personnel, but also in shape, because Kidderminster, yes, they're going into a back 5 for this set piece, but that 3-4-3 system, one we haven't seen here at the Sports Village this year. And it's given us a little bit of an insight into how Scarborough Athletic can maybe deal with things differently as they get a throw-in in the final third.
Yeah, I think what it's made them do is it's made them defend. They've had to defend 1v1 a lot when they've been caught on the counter, Scarborough, but they've done it well by and large. I know they've conceded twice, but it's been a cracking game.
And hopefully more of the same as Brown throws it in, a flick by Thornton. Did it come off a Kidderminster head in the end? Well, all the players are lining up for a corner kick, but the referee has blown his whistle.
Not sure what he's given there.
Now, he had a bit of consultation with the fourth official, who looks like he's suggesting from down on the right-hand side.
The foot in play from the throw-in.
Possibly, a foot in play. And Folks will now head over to take Kidderminster's throw-in. You don't like to see that at any real level of the game, do you, when you give away a foul throw-in, especially when it's so high up the pitch, because that's a chance that they've given away to stretch this Kidderminster side, who can now stretch Scarborough. Ball in behind. Kellerman, right side of the area, tries to cross. That's an inch-perfect intervention on that occasion by Waldron, coming back in on the right-hand side to left-hand side. Now for Richards, into Kuyar. Kuyar with a little step over, tries to go to the byline, holds onto it, but then Green comes in inside the penalty area. He will clear down the line. Colville tried to bring it under his control on his right boot, gives it away, cross delivered, but Whitley's underneath it, stumbles to the floor, and that attack comes to an end for Kidderminster Harriers. But it looks like we are going to get more of the same, Neil Redfern. Both teams absolutely going for it. 2-2 the score.
It's exactly that, James, you're right. They're both going for it. They both want the 3 points. They're leaving themselves quite open at the back at times. I don't think Kidderminster will have had this done to them that often, where they've gone 2 in front, or they've scored 2 goals and conceded 2. Been always tight at the back, but they're in a different game against Scarborough. They're really at it.
In terms of the attack for Scarborough, Bennett goes in for a tackle. It's a high one, and both players, Morgan Smith and Bennett, have both clattered into each other's ankles, and both players in real distress here. Referee Ben Robinson comes over. A fan is giving his tuppence worth as Ben Robinson keeps a calm and cool lid on the situation, but more seriously, the players seem in some distress here as Richie Bennett looks like he's getting more sufficient treatment here around the leg, around the shin area. He was caught high by the looks of things, and Morgan Smith currently on his hands and knees getting physio treatment as well. But this looks a very painful one for Richie Bennett.
Yeah, I think he's just caught it late, hasn't he? I think both have sort of genuinely gone in for it. I think looking at Morgan Smith's chance, it's a little bit high. I think he's maybe caught him round about the ankle, maybe bottom of his shin.
Well, Richie Bennett now thankfully sitting up. Both players going in for that 50-50, and thankfully both of them are on their feet. Richie Bennett will get a word here from the referee, however. I think he's maybe judged to be the culprit of the coming together, and Kidderminster will get a free kick. Jonathan Greening just having consultation with his physio and the rest of his staff, maybe just getting full information on the situation there. Bennett thankfully up on his feet, Morgan Smith as well, and both of them in sportsmanship, clasped hands together. I think a little bit of apology from the pair of them as well.
Yeah, and it was a late one for Richie Bennett. I'm not sure he knew that Morgan Smith was there, to be honest with you. He sort of came from the side with his challenge, but it's definitely caught him high up the shin.
No cards and no malice in the end as Kidderminster knock it around their back line. It goes back towards Dibble. Dibble with a side foot ball out to the left back area, where Richards will move it now in field towards Davis, and then back it goes again into Downing. Very experienced centre back Played for Blackburn Rovers once upon a time and helped Blackburn in their championship days when Scarborough were in the 9th tier after their reformation as well. So a long illustrious career. Haven't really seen too much from him tonight. He's been more old school as Kidderminster build forward up towards the penalty area. David Davis now in the centre of midfield, plays to Fulks, just drops it into the path of Reynolds on the right side of the area, back to Fulks, swings it in, Hemmings away from his marker, looks to tee it back to Davis, who had to stride and slide to collect the ball. Fulks pokes one down the line, Perver comes in, Reynolds is trying to kick it out of his control as he was down with both hands. Perver then gives him a kick, ball's pushed through there to Fulks, he will deliver, and then in the back of the 6-yard box, Hemmings went flying in, and it flies all the way through out towards that left-hand side. Cross comes back in. Will Edgy clears away. Bennett controls it and now gives it to Colville with a bit of fortune from the mistouch of Davis. Colville holds on to it. Plays to Wiles in the centre circle. Out now towards Waldron. Waldron looking for that run in between the midfield. Through to Colville. Bennett's ahead of him. Waldron stays up with him in the centre. Colville now has the ball taken off him. Waldron into tier. Onside, but into the side netting. And maybe he should be hitting the target. Maybe he had a doubt that he was onside or offside. But he's managed to spin the ball into the side netting from the right side of the box. Big chance, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, great play though, in through the midfield. Little give and goes and link play between Dom Tier and Colville. As the ball gets slid down the side, it's a decent effort. It's hit the side netting. I think he had it covered there, Christian Dibble, but fantastic how they cut through the Kidderminster midfield. Great play.
All because of Jack Waldron and Luca Colville. And even though he's a very young fullback, Neil Redfern, that confidence to drive forward against experienced players like David Davis, for example, Paul Downing, championship experience, it doesn't faze him as Colville tries to give it out to the right hand side for Harry Green. Richards is going to win the battle, clears it out onto that left hand side, stays in play over there as Kuyar controls, then to Kellerman up towards Hemmings on halfway, and now back towards David Davis, who's got a pocket of space around the centre circle area. He's making a few strides before thinking of finding Fulks, who stays out on the right hand touchline. Davis will now play towards Reynolds, two in red on that right hand side, led by Tier, and then Brown is in his left back position. A ball pushed through, intercepted by Thornton. Now looks to play it to Bennett on the halfway line. He's losing his balance, losing control. Now he's in a tussle with McNally, and he manages to win the ball back. Good tussle and fair one according to the referee. Colville now looking to dribble his way past Kellerman, loses his footing, and Kellerman now tries to play it through to Hemmings, who's offside, and again another close one. The linesman's been confident in his decision making, Neil Redfern. That one looked a little bit nip and tuck as well.
Yeah, he's been really brave, Will Thornton, because he's held the line really well. To be fair to Kieran Wellegy as well, he's looking across his teammate, and they just step up at the right time. Also it's also like reminiscent of that Arsenal backline back in the day, the Invincibles, you know, when they used to be really good at that offside line. Really played it well so far. He's taking a chance, you know, if he times his run right, Wemins is in, but they must have caught him offside half a dozen times.
Scarborough would dream of being invincible in 2025 if they want their playoff ambitions to be matched from what they said in the summer. Alex Brown with a long throw, which doesn't beat the first man of Davis, who lets out a yelp as he heads it away. Brown on this left-hand side, Waldron on the right-hand side, he's staying back. Wellegy wants to go, so too does Thornton, but they're staying in position here as Brown now throws it in. It's flicked by Bennett. Colville goes up for it, looked to be a high boot. The referee says it was indeed. Kidderminster need to retake it for a moving ball. Just to make that point about Jack Waldron in that previous build-up, he's so confident in bringing the ball infield into centre midfield areas, despite the experience Kidderminster have got.
Yeah, I mean, they're all comfortable from foot. I mean, whatever they do, you know, as the DNA through the week in training, the generic stuff where they're working on the technique and the passing and the touch, you can see it benefits them because they're all comfortable in possession. They can all play, they can all link passes. You know, he's really worked well with them as Jono, but just what I've noticed as well with Kidderminster, they've almost left three up at times and trying to make Scarborough commit to leaving 4 back, and it just leaves them a little bit light round the box when they're having free kicks and corners.
Reynolds into Hemmings on the edge of the penalty area. It's been a great contest tonight, 2-2. You wouldn't think one side is in the bottom half and the other in the playoff places. Reynolds will try and get away from Perver. He digs out across. Willedge, however, simple clearance away. Bennett's the only one forward. A bit of shirt pulling on both sides. Big booming ball forward again by Kidderminster from halfway as they try and immediately get the attack. It's through to Morgan Smith. Can he control it? Can he shoot? He can. It's blocked. Ryan Whitley comes out of his 6-yard box, dives down on the ball, met by the appreciation of the Scarborough Athletic fans. And Whitley has tried to go route one up towards Harry Green here. He's measured his kick delightfully. Green controls near the byline towards that corner flag. He's now got to try and get around Caleb Richards. He'll just bump the ball to his shins, takes the throw in. You're listening to BBC Radio York's coverage of Scarborough Athletic versus Kidderminster Harriers. There'll be a change now. Rhys Devine is coming on for Kidderminster Harriers. We'll check to see the number that will be up in his place. David Davis is going to come off. The former Birmingham City man between 2014 and 2021, once played against Jonathan Greening when he was a Nottingham Forest midfielder and Davis played for Birmingham. He's making his way off now, and I have to say, for an experienced leader, if you like, on the ball, he doesn't look like he's played in the Championship or League One to sufficient levels tonight. I think he's looked a little bit ring rusty.
Yeah, he looks a bit leggy, to be honest with you. But look, he's still playing at that age, and I think he's been better in the second half, to be honest with you.
Well, long throw-in taken by, on this occasion, Waldron swings it in. Tier thinking about it, but just caught and then bounced into the ground by Dibble, who in pink tonight has been, I have to say, very good in these wide areas, because when crosses have come in, whether they be low or whether they be launched throw-ins, he seems to have had, apart from the free kick, a real good reading of the game for a goalkeeper.
Yeah, and what he's done is he's committed himself and he's got something on him, even if it's like a handout so it goes out the back and they can regather and defend that. He's made it easier for his centre-backs. 13
clean sheets so far this season, stands 6'4", 5 clean sheets and 6 away. No wonder he's brimming with confidence, despite conceding 2 tonight. But it's been an all-out attacking affair from both sides as Morgan Smith tussles with Willedge in a right-back area for the number 2 of Scarborough. Now cleared away. Reynolds collects in the middle of his own half, back towards Downing. He's going to play safe and go back towards Dibble. Alfreton 3, Brackley 3, by the way, in Nottinghamshire. Tier almost got in behind the back 3 of Kidderminster Harriers. It was a bodied header by Colville. In the first touch there was nothing wrong with it, but it was good defending, and now defence turns into attack for Kidderminster. Fulks with a cross into the area. Was he caught late by Alex Brown?
That's a really late challenge from Alex Brown.
Well, he certainly thought that there was nothing wrong with it. He shouted at the linesman. Phil Brown is having his words with the 4th official. Jonathan Greening choosing to be quiet this time and stay out of it as he paces around with hands in pockets. It was right on the white paint of the penalty area on that right-hand side as well. Fulks up to his feet, not making a grumble about it, as Whitley just sends the ball flying out of play to our left-hand side.
He's kept the lid on it quite well, the referee, so far, because there has been a little bit of niggle in it. And he's sort of managed it. The players just need to play along in the same fashion, because it's been such a good game. And the fact that it has been aggressive and competitive has made it even better.
McNally with the long throw-in down the near side touchline. Bennett jumps in along with McNally. Ball breaks here possibly to Colville. Downing doesn't get it clear, and Wiles collects down the middle. Domtier gathers. He's got a man to his right in Green, but the final line of defence of the outfield players, Caleb Richards, is there to block. A flying ball forward is gobbled up easily by Ryan Whitley. Phil Brown has made the first change, so Jonathan Greening has one in the bank as a long ball forward goes up towards Harry Green, but he's going to run out of room as it goes over the byline. Where would you change first, Neil Redfern?
For Scarborough, I think they just maybe could do with a little bit more energy in midfield. They've worked so hard in there tirelessly. We've not seen much of Domtier. We've not seen a great deal of Luca Colville second half, and it might be that if they could put a couple of more changes in there, just to give him some legs, just to get close to him in midfield.
Well, they are about to send a couple of players on a warm-up, including new signing Bill Marshall, as Perver goes into a hefty challenge with McNally, but like a warrior, and both of them like warriors, they get up immediately with no fuss. Thornton comes crashing in on Reynolds. Now the tackles go flying in, and Colville is judged to have given a foul away, which is met by real displeasure from those in a red shirt. And Ben Robinson is about to dish out a card here to Luca Colville. He feels the referee that he went charging in over the top. Jonathan Greening is now more animated, and one or two supporters getting animated as well in front of us here. That's an interesting call, that, because there was some hefty challenges in the build-up as well. Do you think Ben Robinson got that one right?
Well, look, I mean, there were that many challenges going in. I mean, you could have given free kicks to either side, but I mean, he has kept it, like I say, he has kept a lid on it so far, the referee. You've just got to be careful here, because it's just starting to get to that point where it's boiling over. The benches have been at it all the game, but I think if they can, whichever side gets a cool head here and gets the ball down and passes it, is going to get the points, I think.
Normally they're so quiet, aren't they, on the touchlines at National League North level, partly because the fans can hear them much clearer as a free kick goes forward. And then Scarborough are going to get one of their own, as Morgan Smith is judged to have outmuscled Alex Brown, and Morgan Smith is just having a word with Alex Brown as he pulls him back to his feet, feeling that he went down too easily. Referee gave it. Maybe just in his mind he feels there that he just needed to just even the decision making up a little bit, just maybe having a cast of doubt of what he's just done for Luca Colville, who, as you mentioned, we hadn't seen too much from Colville. Now he's on a yellow card. Might he be the switch?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think he's done ever so well up front, Richie Bennett, to be honest with you. I think he's led the line really, really well. They've not really got anything around him enough for me. I think they could maybe alter that with a change.
Dont, good footwork, now plays to Colville, tries the 1-2, 25 yards from goal. That one will be cleared away. Thornton now trying to keep Kuyar under wraps to Morgan Smith. Given away, however, it went underneath the boot of Reynolds, and now Bennett, who's a little deep, moves it into the Kidderminster half to Wiles. Spots a man out wide in Domtier. It's a piercing angle diagonal, but it runs out of play for a goal kick. The fans appreciate it, as Alex Brown just has a couple of stretches. Jonathan Greening just checking in on him on this near side. He's just clutching the back of his calf there, Alex Brown, and a little bit of communication between the two. Alex Brown seemingly okay. Just feels maybe just had a bit of a trailing leg earlier in the game, and now it's giving him a little bit of discomfort.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely been in the wars, to be fair to him. He's a real competitor. He's got forward brilliantly on this left-hand side for Scarborough.
It's been one of those performances tonight where you can tell there's been nearly 2 weeks off from the league, because it feels like they've had so much pent-up energy.
Yeah.
And the same for Kidderminster. They've only played in the FA Trophy recently against Slough, beat them 4-0. As a throw-in down the line by Bennett, beats Tia, and he just bumps it against Downing. Corner kick to come then.
Well, it's good play, because they've not covered themselves in glory from set players, Kidderminster. They look a little bit loose when the ball comes in. They can get on the end of something here and get the noses in front, Scarborough, make it really interesting.
Looking down at the dugout, Phil Brown is pacing around with a slightly more anxious look on his face. You can see he's pushing his tongue against both cheeks as he ponders how Kidderminster Harriers get out of this little onslaught that Scarborough are trying to offer, as Perver will deliver towards the 6-yard box. Good header by Morgan Smith up into the air. Thornton then tried to get the second pickings, but now Kidderminster Harriers will look to bring it away. Poor clearance, however, straight to Waldron. Crosses from deep, no runners into the box, and Dibble catches it in his bread basket and will now bowl it out and look to get Kidderminster Harriers on their way, who's front free despite their ageing legs and maybe a little bit of less energy. Immediately up the pitch into their positions. Phil Brown just having a good scan again, so too Jonathan Greening, as a couple more players have gone on a warm-up. Morgan Smith is now judged to be offside, and Phil Brown puts his arms apart in despair at the lack of movement from Morgan Smith, and feels his number 9 should be a little bit more streetwise on that occasion.
Yeah, do you know what, Fletch, they've been caught offside quite a bit, Kidderminster. If it wasn't Emmons, it's been Morgan Smith, and they've led that line really well at the back. Big Thornton has played a really good game. Big Will Thornton and Kieran Willajai at side of him. They've looked really good.
Well, we haven't seen any goals yet in the second half. Kuyar now wants to change that as he tries to play through Morgan Smith. This time he's got his run perfect. He tries to cross it to Hemmings, and Kidderminster Harriers are back in front here. And Phil Brown shows his emotion towards the stand we're in, and Hemmings was unmarked at the back post. Morgan Smith timed his run to perfection this time from right to left, squares it across, and Kidderminster Harriers for the third time tonight are back in front. Scarborough Athletic 2, Kidderminster Harriers 3.
Well, we just talked earlier about how well they'd marshalled, that front three, because we know how dangerous it is for Kidderminster, particularly the two big centre-backs, or Will Thornton and Kieran Willajai, but they just got caught really high up the pitch, and this time it was a well-timed run from Morgan Smith. Timed it brilliantly, great ball, is well onside, and he does the unselfish thing for his teammate and squares it out, and it's a well-worked goal, and it's probably come at a time when Scarborough were just starting to get on top.
Well, they'd ridden the storm of the first 15 minutes at Kidderminster Harriers. Normally they're a side who score plenty in the first 15 minutes of the second half. After 68 minutes, it's now 3-2 to the visitors. The first time a side have come here to the Sports Village this season and put 3 past Scarborough Athletic. But will Kidderminster Harriers dig defensive trenches and allow Scarborough Athletic more of the ball? As the ball has gone out for a throw in front of Phil Brown's technical area. Alex Brown with a long throw in, flicked by Fulks behind him. Green comes across to the left wing, right by the corner flag. He's now looking for that opportunity to try and get around him. His marker that's Caleb Richards, and it will now be a throw-in right near the corner flag. Alex Brown jogging up to take it. There's how many in the penalty area? 4, 5, 6 now in red. 2 staying up for Kidderminster Harriers. There's more goals in this. There's more goals. As in comes the throw-in, flicked by Bennett, looking for Wileji. As Reynolds now looks to try and get it clear. Wiles then chested it, and he almost had a clean run into the penalty area, but then that second touch just bouncing off his right foot and behind for a goal kick.
Do you know what? It's been a really uncomfortable evening for that back line of Kidderminster. Richie Bennett's been absolutely outstanding. Really put his body on the line for his teammates. It's caused them all sorts of problems with his physicality.
Scarborough Athletic unbeaten in 4. That is under threat in their home patch. 5 goals tonight and 5 different goal scorers. And what more will we see here at the Sports Village? As a long throw in again by Brown. The atmosphere around the Sports Village just ebbing a little bit. As ball forward, Wileji's got to deal with it. Hemmings tries to trap it 20 yards out. One back by the home side. Waldron with a long ball forward. It now goes towards Alex Wiles. There will be more football for you on Friday night here on BBC Radio York as well, whether you are a Harrogate fan who's taking in a local commentary tonight of a non-league side from the county. They are in action, which will be also accompanied by Scarborough Athletics' trip to Buxton, where they face Farsley Celtic. Real issues going on for the West Yorkshire club at the moment, which we will probably dissect more during the week. Reports that there's only 12 players registered now at the West Yorkshire club. Their second manager of the season has departed, and we will have full build-up from 7 o'clock just like tonight. That one will be available with myself and Darren Foreman on Friday night. A choice between Harrogate Town and Scarborough Athletic. And then York City are in action as the sole game on Saturday, with full build-up from 2 o'clock with Ian Dunn and David Ward as well. Back here tonight, the game just losing its rhythm momentarily. No changes yet from Scarborough Athletic, but Jonathan Greening, Michael Ingham and the rest of the coaching staff must be tempted now.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's got to be some tired legs out here. They put a real shift in. Both sets of players, both 11s have really gone at it, hammer and tongue. But they're just losing a little bit of fire out of the game.
Now Bennett's won it back near the penalty area after putting pressure on. Kidderminster failed to clear the first time, but with a bit of luck from Scarborough Athletic trying to fire it back forward with Dom Tier, they can now break away up to halfway. Reynolds now for Kellerman in the centre circle, moving it from right to left. Kidderminster 3-2 the scoreline. We've played 72 minutes. Back it goes towards Waldron, who plays back to Whitley. Needed a solid kick away. He's got that as Green on the right hand side can't bring the ball down. Flag's gone up again against Kidderminster Harriers. This time, however, it's for a throw-in. Thought for a minute they were going to get caught offside again. I've got a count here. I think they've been caught offside on 9 occasions.
Yeah, it says 9. Yeah. I mean, some of it's good defending. You know, they've stepped up really well. You know, Big Will Thornton's took the mantle there and organised his backline really well. But you have to say that, you know, they just got caught out for that third goal. They stepped up and they played them off onside, to be honest with you, because they timed the run well.
Colville now for Perva. He's trying to move it towards Dom Tier. He's done that. Neat footwork, and Colville just needed to take a touch inside the penalty area. Would have had a free roll of the dice to make it 3-3. Tier now finds Willedgie, and Willedgie shoots through traffic. Didn't touch any bootlaces or socks of a navy blue colour. It goes behind for a goal kick. Dibble is on his back, having dived across, and the physio is going to come on for Kidderminster Harriers. And whether this is more time-wasting antics,
yeah,
Christian Dibble
so.
is clutching his abdomen area.
Yeah, I think so. You know, they're just trying to take the heat out of the situation, because every time that they've gone in front, Kidderminster, they've reacted brilliantly. Scarborough come back, neither scored or they've got right on top. He's just trying to manage the situation. The referee's got to be wise to it.
Both sets of players have come over for a drink as we enter the final 15 minutes here on BBC Radio York. You've got 15 minutes after the game, or round about that, to react with Sharon Shortle as we get the post-match reaction of Jonathan Greening, which will be available on BBC Sounds. Christian Dibble upon his feet and having a little shuttle and a sprint around his 6-yard box. Hence why the Scarborough Athletic fans on the far side are having a few sarcastic cheers.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with him.
Dibble, former Bury Barnsley player, plenty of loan spells, was actually at Wrexham during their takeover time from the Ryan Reynolds, and was let go after they were promoted out of the National League. His dad, Andy Dibble, was actually in goal in a League Cup final with Luton in 1988, saved a penalty. So his family have done well in the world of football. Dibble playing in non-league, however. His dad, Andy Dibble, was actually at Anfield on the weekend. He's one of the coaching staff at Accrington Stanley as Willedgie tries to play one forward, and it will go through to Dibble, who chests it. He's going to wait for Dom Tier to come towards him, chewing into that time before eventually picking up the ball. And he really did milk the moment there, did Dibble.
Yeah, I mean, look, what comes with experienced players is game management, and I think we're just starting to see a little bit of it creeping in now. You know, they've got the noses in front. They don't want any more goals in this, Kidderminster. They're just trying to manage the minutes.
Well, Perver up to Dom Tiers. A good run made by Colville. Temporary 2v1 situation. Colville tries to play it across to Green, who's found the only defender backtracking into the box. It was Richards who got rid of it. As Kouya now flailing arm. This should be a red card, I think. It's all kicked off. Morgan Smith has come in, and Jonathan Greening's trying to calm things down, and Jimmy Beadle, who's already been booked, he's trying to calm things down. So too is Phil Brown. Morgan Smith agitated. Kouya went in with a flailing arm on Alex Brown, who's still on the floor by the tunnel area, and Ben Robinson's got a big decision to make here. The ball had gone out of play, and Kouya charging in on his man, and Alex Brown is getting back to his feet. Jonathan Greening absolutely furious. He's talking to Hemmings now. He's much calmer, but it all kicked off on the touchline there, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, I mean, I think it started. Obviously, the ball's been knocked out here wide, and took both sets of players challenge for it. And as the ball's gone out, I think one of the Kidderminster players just pushed one of the Scarborough players to the floor, and obviously Jonathan Greening saw that. Not happy with it at all, and the referee brandished a yellow card in amongst all that, so where that's gone I don't know.
Well, there's a card coming here. There's a red card. Jonathan Greening has been sent to the stand. Wow. He's furious as well, Jonathan Greening, as you would expect. He waves his arm away in disgust, and Jonathan Greening talks to the club's secretary, the fourth official as well. Jonathan Greening is down the tunnel, so I don't think it'll be Jonathan Greening we're talking to tonight, but more importantly, well, he put his arms up on Morgan Smith. Notice that. Michael Ingham will now have to call the shots from the dugout. Michael Ingham shouting at the fourth official now. I suspected there would be a red card coming in the midst of all of that. Kuyar got a yellow card in the midst of all that as well. That is a huge decision from the referee.
I mean, I just think as well, James, if you were a betting man, you'd have said if it were going to be a red card, it was probably going to come from the bench, to be honest with you, because they've been aerated all the game. I'm not saying that Jono should have got sent off or what have you, but they've been really up for this, and I think the referee sort of managed it quite well to this point. But there's been 2 or 3 things that have been let go, and the crowd sensed it, the players have sensed it. It nearly boiled over there.
Well, down the line the ball travels. We are back underway, and we said in the first half that it was a well-mannered game, but despite that aggression, but it turns out now things have bubbled over and boiled over far too much, which has seen Jonathan Greening dismissed, which means he'll probably get a touchline ban for the trip to Buxton to face Farsley Celtic, as Alex Brown back on his feet from a swinging arm from Kuyar, as Richie Bennett dribbles the ball out of play. Are you surprised Kuyar is still on the pitch after going in so heavily on Alex Brown? In the moment, I thought, and I'm prepared to say this, I thought it was a swinging arm round the shoulders towards the back of the head.
Well, it looked to me like he pushed him to the floor. That's what it looked like from where I was. He definitely went to the floor. I mean, if he's on a yellow, it's definitely another yellow. I mean, the referee did brandish a yellow card in amongst all that before actually sending Jono off. So,
well, the Scarborough Athletic media team, we'll come to that in a moment. Colville trying to play it through now towards Jonathan Greening. It goes behind. Corner kick to come then for Scarborough Athletic. We've got 12 minutes of normal time to go, as Perver will go over to take it. Michael Ingham is the one currently with arms folded. Alex Perver to deliver, as a big puff of the cheeks. Drops his shoulders, in it swings towards the back post. Thornton trying to get his boot to it. In fact, it was Richie Bennett, I beg your pardon, and it flies out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too big, wasn't it, that corner that came in. The corners have been really good from Alex Perver, but that just got a little bit big for Richie Bennett, who's been outstanding tonight. I have to say, the big centre forward.
Ben Robinson, the referee, watching Christian Dibble, making sure that he's not time wasting too much, having a watchful eye, as we've seen one goal in the second half, but we've seen more controversy as Jonathan Greening sent off. Phil Brown talking to the fourth official. The club secretary is down there at the moment, just trying to keep everything calm. Jonathan Greening was sent off, according to the social media channel of Scarborough Athletic. They said that he has been given a red card for attempting to find peace in a conflicted situation after Brown was fouled in front of the Borough dugout. And no question of the latter part, but I felt that Jonathan Greening lost his cool. Morgan Smith, how did he get away with nothing in that situation?
Yeah.
Because he went in and got himself heavily involved.
Well, it didn't seem like he was aggravated about it, Jono, to be fair. He just seemed to sort of put his body between, the players that were coming in to protest.
Well, Harry Green, he will dance the ball out of play, but took a touch. It will be a throw-in.
These are big moments for the game now for Kidderminster. For Scarborough, they've just got to try and get onto that second phase. If it comes in the box and it drops down, they've got to be first to it.
And can that anger be used in a positive way on the pitch as Brown plays it in? Bennett did get a little touch. Partial clearance by Kidderminster out of the box. It will now be Rhys Devine, the one substitute we've seen tonight from both teams. We have not seen anyone come off the bench yet for Scarborough Athletic, as Perver tries to play it through. In comes Wiles trying to break up play, then gathered by Green as they shift from right to left. Thornton just drops it now to Brown. We will see a change in a moment. Kieran Glynn is going to come on for Scarborough Athletic. Michael Ingham is the one calling the shots now from the dugout as Dibble tries to chew into the time again by diving down on the ball. Just to let you know, it's 3-3 still between Alfreton and Brackley. 0-0 Chorley Peterborough Sports. Leamington down to 10 men. They've pulled one back. It's 4-1 to Chester there. And Scarborough Athletic heading towards defeat at the moment. 3-2. And they've had their manager, Jonathan Greening, sent off as Glynn will prepare to come on. Throwing for Kidderminster towards the final third of Scarborough. And the man who's coming off will be Alex Wiles. So a simple midfield rotation. And he's a little bit more attack minded, and I think the instructions from Kieran Glynn is that he's going to go into the hole and Luca Colville will drop back a little bit. There's going to be another experienced player coming on now for Scarborough Athletic as Obadeyi, the 35-year-old winger, dropped from the side today, who's had 16 different clubs, one of them playing in the Portuguese top flight once upon a time. He's played against Porto before. He's now playing at Scarborough Athletic as he tries to see this out for his team, and he will replace Hemmings, the man who's got the third and at the moment decisive goal in this National League North clash.
Yeah, he's played well, Hemmings, to be fair. I think the front three's been a real handful for Kidderminster. This is probably a like for like, but I mean, the physicality initially came in the game and really early on from Kidderminster. You know, they really set about Scarborough when they were getting on top and looking like they were going to create and score. And you know, since then it's been managed quite well up until that, you know, it spilled over into the dugouts. But hopefully it'll calm down again now, because it's been a cracking game of football.
So, throw-in taken. Pops now towards Kieran Glynn's first touch. Tia winning the ball back off Reynolds. Smart tackle comes in, then Kuyar will look to win it back. It will be a throw-in Scarborough's way, and Kuyar has
referee give it the other way. The linesman give it the other way.
Well, confusion this time from the officials as Bennett heads it towards Glynn in the centre circle. Now for Waldron, and he's got away with Kidderminster just blocking the ball into him. Waldron then tries to play it back to Green again, and there's been so little fine margin. Scarborough have been able to win the ball back so quickly, but just moments of movement, misplaces of passes at times have really cost them at serious situations. But Bennett now, edge of the area towards that right hand side. Perver trying to move the ball back out wide, then slides in as he wins back possession near the centre circle. Waldron having a look in field towards Perver, man on his back, plays towards Thornton on the halfway line. He's going to whip it out wide, looking for Harry Green. A header and a smart one by Rhys Devine, flicked over the head this time by Obadeyi. Kieran Willeji wins it back, however, for Scarborough Athletic. 5 minutes, I make it, of normal time to go here between Scarborough Athletic and Kidderminster Harriers. The visitors will be top of the league if they win tonight, but they've been made to work for it. They've had their lead taken away from them twice, but they hold the cards at the moment as Thornton and Brown combine passes.
Yeah, they've definitely been pushed all the way. I mean, they've been outstanding at times, Scarborough, with some of the forward play as well. The goals were out of the top draw. The free kick from Harry Green, sublime. But you know, I think that what we've seen from Kidderminster is an experienced side that have probably managed this second half a little bit better than Scarborough. You know, that they're still full at it, Scarborough, and they're looking to try and make their way back into it. But I think we've seen some good experienced player from this Kidderminster side.
Throwing down the line by the current table toppers. It will be Brown who's going to play a long ball forward. You know, outsiders will look in, and we reference the start of the programme, Neil Redfern. It's going to be 2 wins in 13 if tonight, most likely. However, the example that Scarborough have shown tonight, even though they've conceded 3, is they've been in the game throughout, and at times have pressurised a side which are going to be, the way things stand, sitting top of the National League North tonight.
Well, I mean, you've got to look at the performance as well. I think the performance has been terrific from Scarborough tonight. They've really put a good side to the sword, and they've scored 2 goals against a side that hardly concede any.
Yeah, 17 before tonight, 2 more added to that list. as Alex Brown shields the ball, wins a free kick just to the right of the centre circle in the Kidderminster half. Still only that one change. They have got Wilson on the bench as another attacking option if they just want to throw everything at it, as Perver now dinks it forward. Thornton made the run to try and win the header from the corner of the area on the left hand side. Obadei will now look to clear. Kuyar plays now towards Reynolds. Neat footwork away from Perver. Glynn comes back in. Fourth official has now got his board out ready, and now Morgan Smith and Alex Perver are going in on a tussle, and it's booting off again here at the Sports Village, and Morgan Smith is in the thick of it. Michael Ingham is finger pointing and gesturing towards Phil Brown. The fourth official's got to keep them apart as Reynolds, who won the free kick, walks away. Morgan Smith playing the game of Richie Bennett, if you like. We've seen this from Bennett before, where he gets really in the faces of the opposition, and Morgan Smith, who's got in the face of nearly everyone in red, including the manager, is about to get a yellow card for his troubles after squaring up and pushing and shoving with Alex Perver. I think Perver might be getting a yellow card. Might he not? I think he might be about to be summoned. He is now making his way back towards the referee from halfway. Unsurprisingly, both of them will get a cautioning for that exchange, as Alex Brown talks to the fourth official. Sadly now it's getting a little bit more unsavoury towards the end as tempers start to fray. I don't think we're finished yet, as Ben Robinson has a look at the watch. Thornton unhappy.
Yeah, I mean, it's mad, a really good game of football, to be honest with you. I mean, it's only these latter stages when it looks like one side might take the 3 points.
Well, they're going to make a change, Kidderminster Harriers. Zach Brown will be coming off, and Kuyar is going to make his way off, who's on a yellow card.
Yeah, he's been good tonight, Kuyar.
Well, it's the one who started all the goal scoring.
Yep.
And Zach Brown, 21 years of age, midfielder by trade, just to maybe add some bulk into that midfield. He's not the most physical looking of midfielders, but they know the job now. I mean, it's a 3-4-3 at the start of the game, but looks like it could be a 5-4-1 now as Phil Brown bellows.
Yeah,
it's going to be direct.
This is still really a high line, you know, from this free kick.
Well, they stood about 35 yards away from Dibble's goal. The free kick's been taken in the middle of the Scarborough half. Header won, however, by the visitors. And now Obadei trying to sprint away down the left-hand side. Heavy touch there, runs straight out of play. So Waldron collects a touch and a clearance as he turns into a crossing situation. Reynolds now sends the ball up into the night sky. Waldron tries to pick it out over Morgan Smith. 7 minutes of added time.
There'll be another chance in this for Scarborough, I'll tell you, James, because they've just lost the rag a little bit, Kidderminster. You know, and they've just got to keep the cool now, Scarborough, and just keep passing, keep moving the ball, keep getting it in crossing areas, keep getting it out to people like Harry Green.
Throw-in taken by Kidderminster Harriers. 7 minutes. Everything can change in that time as a free kick goes Scarborough's way on the edge of their own penalty area, and the ball has been booted away by Kidderminster. I think it was Rhys Devine who might have done that, as Ben Robinson, the referee, goes back towards him and he gets a yellow card for his troubles. The dark arts now on show, if you like, from Kidderminster Harriers, who've really got in the faces and really agitated Scarborough Athletic in this second half. There's plenty forward again. Scarborough's having to drop much deeper. Scarborough's line, Kidderminster's line even, is so high for this direct free kick, which is 5 yards from the edge of the penalty area of Scarborough. They're stood 40 yards away, but all together, as Perver now plays into the feet of Kieran Glynn, given away. Reynolds now the stretch Scarborough Athletic as Reynolds hits it wide to Obadei. He's run out of traction, however, tries to play it down the line towards Glynn, but it will be a throw-in as it's bumped off the body of Kieran Glynn. A couple of fans are making their way to the exits. I wouldn't go just yet. I don't think we're finished yet, but both teams are still going hammer and tong at it. Kidderminster Harriers, as things stand, will be top of the table, and now they're into the penalty area. Low ball looking for Morgan Smith. he certainly wouldn't have been he would have been a happy man, but he would not have been a fan favourite if he'd made it 4-2 in that occasion.
Yeah, and they basically broke the line. They did ever so well. So good little ball down the sides to get in behind, and his cross wasn't good. But I do feel they've just managed these moments a little bit better than Scarborough. If they could have channeled the heat out of this game, they'd have got in front.
Here comes Kidderminster. A chance here for Kellerman to finish it, but off the crossbar. The cross came in, he was free on the 18-yard line, hit it sweet as a nut, slams into the crossbar. Phil Brown bounces on the spot because he knows that's such a good opportunity to kill the game off.
Yeah, it's a brilliant player, to be fair. It's good cross. His first touch is good. He feints to shoot with his first touch, drags it across, then strikes it sweet as a nut.
Played away by Ryan Whitley. Bennett just a little off, matching that header as Morgan Smith uses his weight. Plays now towards Reynolds, and Reynolds now down the right hand side. It will be him who just tussles with Brown. It will be a throw in Kidderminster's way, and Scarborough players don't like it as Harry Green now asks the fourth official about that decision. I think it's going to be quite an agitated staff member, whoever we speak to tonight. We can't speak to Jonathan Greening because he's been dismissed. I imagine it will be Michael Ingham that we speak to here on BBC Radio York. You can have your say on an action-packed night here on BBC Radio York. 81333 on the text, 08000 321 333 on the WhatsApp. Start your messages with the word York, or leave us a comment on our social media channel X. It is BBC York Sport. Whitley immediately gets the ball and plays now towards Jack Waldron. It's route one now for Scarborough Athletic. Bennett, neat flick on, looking for Harry Green. That ball's flying towards us. Lands about 2 rows away from us. A good throw-in from the supporter just below us to get it back to Richie Bennett. It was pinpoint.
It's a great little flick on, wasn't it, from Bennett? He's done that all game.
I thought you were going to say a great flick on by the fan there.
Just backs in and moves the defender out of the way and just guides it into the attacker's path. It's great play.
Green has floated one into the area, nodded down by Tier, back out there towards Colville. Waldron the only one back near halfway. He sends it immediately into the area. Thornton's going for it. Bennett in a tussle with Folks. Bennett is asking the question of a penalty. Around 4 or 5 in navy blue are trying to rustle up Richie Bennett, who returns the gesture. This time it's to Caleb Richards and Reece McNally getting involved. Ben Robinson's got to calm everything down again. Bennett, I think, was just trying to force somebody to be silly after not getting his way. And the referee, Ben Robinson, only wants to speak to him, which is good management, really, because Bennett knew exactly what he was doing and knows how to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, he's been outstanding today for me, Richie Bennett. He's really led the line well. Not seen much of him as a goal threat, but as regards to holding the ball up and bringing players into the play, brilliant.
Christian Dibble picks the ball up. I imagine there'll be another minute added on from the stoppage time. We've played 5 minutes of it, roughly. Scarborough Athletic 2, Kidderminster Harriers 3. Dibble, long ball away. Nobody up in a navy blue shirt this time. They're sitting a bit deeper. Ball flies up towards Will Thornton only, whose free header is knocked down then by Kellyman. In comes Waldron, gives away a free kick. He didn't need to fly in there on the far side of the ground. It's a nothing area, and it will be a free kick for Kidderminster Harriers towards that left-hand touchline, and they're going to take as much time as they can to set this one near the penalty area. Richie Bennett's picked up the Man of the Match award tonight for Scarborough Athletic. Neil Redfern, would you agree with that?
He's definitely been one of them. I think he's played well tonight. Like I say, I think he's led the line well. I think he does an awful lot of good work and doesn't get the credit or the right credit for it, but played well tonight. Deserved it.
How much more time have Scarborough Athletic got to get up the pitch? They can start to build now. Perver to Tier, neat football through the middle, and again just that one pass. It's snuffed out by Kidderminster Harriers, so readily they've achieved that tonight. Whitley with the big boot away, however. It might find Harry Green. Fulks with the header back. It's going to run out for a throw-in rather than a corner, right next to the corner flag. Nearly everyone in red going forward. Waldron the only one staying back. If it goes to a corner, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Ryan Whitley comes forward, as we are into the 7th minute of stoppage time. A heavily congested penalty area. Big moment in the game. There's been stoppage time drama here in recent times. Throw-in taken by Brown, headed out by Morgan Smith, gets the ripple of applause from the Kidderminster fans, as now Alex Brown reloads and sets it in again. Thornton with the flick on, comes to Perver, just trying to head it into any space he can find. Alex Brown plays it back to Harry Green. It was a bit of a hospital pass. He tries to cut his way back inside when he should have gone back to Waldron. Cleared again by Kidderminster Harriers, who are almost there. Whitley now sends one forward down the middle. Bennett gets a touch off his shoulder. Cleared again by the visitors. Brown is going to move over to try and keep this from being touched by Reynolds, who was charging in. Throw in now in the Kidderminster half. Brown immediately setting it towards the penalty area. Cleared again by Kidderminster. Glynn shrugged off by Obadiah, and Obadiah is away now down that left hand side. Waldron alone at the moment. He comes across now to initiate a challenge. Good footwork from the 35-year-old, but dispossessed and cleared by Scarborough Athletic. Up to Green, good touch away from Fulks. Did he go through the back of Green there to win the ball?
Yeah, it looked like a foul to me. It was a great first touch, great switch of play, great first touch from Harry Green.
That's the final action. Phil Brown's Kidderminster Harriers have taken all 3 points, and they are, a delighted team. Hugs and embraces for those in navy blue. Scarborough Athletic, hands on hips for the most part, particularly from Alex Perver and Harry Green. The final moments have got away from Scarborough Athletic. The game management of the visitors much better. Thankfully there are handshakes and embraces from both managerial staffs as Phil Brown punches the air in delight. Michael Ingham hasn't gone over to shake the hand of Phil Brown, but he has immediately gone down the tunnel by the looks of things. I can't see him out there on the pitch. In fact, he's gone over towards the referee through the melee of all those players who are now handshaking and embracing. So Scarborough Athletic fall short, Neil Redfern, but an unbelievable contest which Scarborough Athletic fall short in. Christian Dibble showing his emotion to the Scarborough Athletic fans who have stayed behind. I think there might be some booing coming in a moment, but on the game itself, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, no, look, it was a cracking game of football. I think the second half, I thought the first half was really even. Probably I think Scarborough shaded it, if I'm honest. You know, both sides went into a piece. The second half, I think they probably managed it a little bit better than Scarborough. Just lost the way a little bit, but I thought, you know, if it had finished as a draw, you know, it would have probably been about right, if I'm honest, because both sides give so much to the cause. I mean, they show the true credentials, to be fair. Kidderminster, you know, they call it dark arts, but they managed to get over the line. They managed the second half better.
They are in a nothing area of the league at the moment. They're 9 points above the drop zone, but they are also 9 points away from the playoff places. They need to put a run together. That's something they just haven't done this season. But again, it's important to, I guess, emphasise as the referee and his officials make their way over. Big talking points sending off Jonathan Greening. Should he have sent off Morgan Smith? Should he have sent off Kuyar? Lots to discuss from the officials' point of view, Neil Redfern.
Well, I mean, unless Jono said something, and I don't. It's not in his nature. I would have thought. None of his gesturing or anything like that. It seemed like he was trying to calm things down. That's what it looked like to me. So, unless something was, you know, said out of turn, but it's a shame because it's such a cracking game of football. I thought Scarborough did Jono proud. Played some great football at times, particularly first half. You know, the wide players that they've got, fantastic. You know, they look to threat. To score 2 goals against a side that just doesn't concede many at all, Kidderminster, is no mean feat. You know, and could have got more as well, to be honest with you. So they've got to be pleased with the performance, but obviously disappointed with the result at the end.
We will get all the reaction from Scarborough Athletic here at the Sports Village. They've lost tonight, but they've given Kidderminster Harriers, who are top of the league, a real test. 5 goals in the end, split 3-2 in the form for Kidderminster Harriers. They win tonight and go top of the league. Scarborough 16th. Final score, Scarborough Athletic 2, Kidderminster Harriers 3.
James Fletcher, Neil Redfern there at Scarborough Sports Village. We'll have another chat with them before 10 o'clock. And as Fletch mentioned in commentary, if we can't bring you reaction live before 10 o'clock, which I think is very, very unlikely this evening, bearing in mind it's already 11 minutes to 10 and bearing in mind how that game finished, you'll be able to hear it later on BBC Sounds and, of course, hear a little bit tomorrow morning in our sports bulletins on The Breakfast Show with Georgie Spanswick. Let's go through this evening's results. Just to say first, though, if you do want to get in touch with us, we'd love to hear from you. 81333. Please start your message with the word York on the text. On WhatsApp, 08000 321 333. Again, please start your message with the word York on WhatsApp as you would with a text. Or you can just tweet us. Get in touch on X at BBC York Sport, and we'll have a look at what you've been saying before 10 o'clock if that is the case. So let's go through tonight's results. We'll start off in the Premier League. Brentford 2, Manchester City 2, Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2, West Ham 3, Fulham 2, and the latest is Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool 1. That one into stoppage time. It kicked off at 8 o'clock. In the Championship, Cardiff 1, Watford 1, Plymouth 1, Oxford United 1. In the FA Cup, Mansfield 0, Wigan 2, Preston joined them in the next round. They've beaten Charlton by 2-1, and it's gone to extra time between Leyton Orient and Derby. That one 1-1 after 90 minutes. In the National League, Aldershot 2, Braintree 2, Altrincham 4, Maidenhead 0, Ebbsfleet 1, Yeovil 1 is the latest, Forest Green 0, Barnet 0, Gateshead 1, FC Halifax 3, Solihull Moors 0, Eastleigh 1. And in National League North, Alfreton 3, Brackley Town 4, Chorley 0, Peterborough Sports 0, Leamington 1, Chester 4, Scarborough 2, Kidderminster 3. So, as James Fletcher suggested, looking at the table, a bit of no man's land at the moment for Scarborough. 9 points clear of the bottom two and 9 points off the playoffs in 16th place with 30 points. Just above them are Southport on 31, Peterborough on 32, Peterborough Sports. Just below them, a point behind them, is Leamington, then Oxford City on 28. So very tight in that area. Farsley, their next opponents. Farsley just above the relegation zone. Of course, all sorts of problems at that club at the moment, as you may have heard James mention. That game on Friday evening, full commentary here on BBC Radio York. And just briefly a look at the National League. No game tonight for York City, but Forest Green were in action. Forest Green, of course, putting plenty of pressure on. A goalless draw with Barnet this evening. So Barnet are third. Forest Green have gone back top. York City are in second place in the table after this evening's matches. No game for York tonight. They play Sutton on Saturday afternoon. And again, commentary here on BBC Radio York. It is 9 minutes to 10.
The home of North Yorkshire sports.
BBC Radio York Sport.
January can sometimes feel like this. Or this. Or this. But January on BBC Radio York feels more like this. Every Monday at 7:45, Georgie has a very special January pick-me-up competition. Georgie's giving you the chance to win a trip to Emmerdale and have a tour of the village with one of the stars of the show. To win, listen every Monday in January on BBC Radio York for Georgie's January pick-me-up competition.
BBC Radio York.
So this evening, defeat for Scarborough Athletic, 3-2 at home to Kidderminster Harriers. At half-time, it was 2-2. And I think at half-time, James Fletcher, I don't think anybody was expecting that second half to unfold quite in the way it did.
No, I think we was expecting fireworks, but possibly fireworks of a different kind, i.e. more goals. We only got one in the end, coming from Ashley Hemmings. He and Morgan Smith into double figures for their respected campaigns. Experience, we feel, up here in the commentary box, Sharon, possibly got the better of Scarborough Athletic, and we coined the phrase just whilst we was off air there, Redders. Did it feel, the only criticism of Scarborough Athletic, with the way that they sometimes misplaced a pass or a little loose touch, was it a raw performance from a youthful side?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel at times perhaps they just got caught up in the heat of the moment, you know, and it affected the decision making a little bit at times. I thought they competed superbly well, and I thought some of the football they played, particularly first half, was really, really good, and, you know, to the point where they were struggling to cope with them, were Kidderminster. But I do think as the game wore on, I thought they managed the moments, or the key moments of the game, Kidderminster, better than Scarborough did. And, you know, you're going to get that with a young side.
Sorry, a fan just came over just to speak to us there, Sharon. Regarding tonight, so described it as raw, but you look at Kidderminster and you can understand why they're top of the table, because when they do get in front late in the day, that's when they become and they show their true colours, don't they? Because they have that little bit of dark arts about them, and that ruffles up players.
Yeah, I mean, even the things like, Christian Dibble going down the goalkeeper, just with an injury that, obviously wasn't an injury. Just, he felt his side a little bit, went down, wasted maybe a minute, 90 seconds. Taking the time with throw-ins, putting the ball in areas where Scarborough had to go and retrieve it, and just sitting in the block, making it difficult for him. But I thought, I thought there was some real merit in lots of Scarborough's performance today. Every time I see them, they play with real desire and passion. Tempo's great, the passing's good by and large. They look a threat going forward. I do think they've had no luck at times, with some of the results where they could have definitely had more than, just a point if it's been a draw, or if they got beat. I think they could have got a result out of other games. They've just got to keep chipping away.
The £1 million question, though, Redders, is, and as a former manager, how do you get luck? Do you just have to wait for it to come along?
Well, the harder you work, the luckier you get. That is a fact. But to go with hard work as well, you've got to play with a little bit of savvy, and that's where experience comes in. And it is quite a youthful side. You can see that they've got a lot of athletic players, young athletic players that are mobile, that are good technically, that are quite gifted. But as regards experience in managing a game and winning a football game, they're probably not quite there yet with that. But again, as a long-term project, you're better working with younger players and building something that's maybe going to be worthwhile further down the seasons.
Well, yeah, interesting to see how Bill Marshall will get on. We'll talk about Bill Marshall probably a little bit more with whoever we speak to on Thursday here on BBC Radio York, because the discrepancy of when a manager gets sent off is that normally you're actually suspended from press duties as well in the build-up to a game. I'm fully imagining we'll speak to Michael Ingham this evening, but that's the first time really we've seen Jonathan Greening blow his top this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was quite a harsh one on Jono, to be honest with you. What seemed, he was trying to sort of get in between something that he thought was going to blow up as regards two players coming together. It looked like one of the Scarborough players got wrestled to the floor by a Kidderminster player. That's what it looked like from where I was sat. And Jono just sort of trying to make the peace. I mean, I don't know if anything was said. We're not privy to that, obviously, because we're up here in the stands. But passions get high. You're invested in it as a manager. You want your players to do well. You want the team to do well. We did mention that both benches were quite up for it. Throughout the course of the game. Obviously Phil Brown's a vastly experienced manager, and he's a wind-up merchant. You know that. You know what you're going to get. So you've got to just ignore all that, and go with your own team, because for me, vast majority of the game, particularly first half, like I said, they played some absolutely great stuff. Scarborough, Campton, Kidderminster's half in the first 10-15 minutes, it was difficult for Kidder to get out. Again, they did show some real toughness, some mental resilience. But I mean, it won't feel like a decent performance first half. When you get beat 3-2, you look at the result, and it affects your mood, obviously.
Final one before I hand back to Sharon, because not got much time left.
Yeah.
Farsley Celtic in dire straits off the field at the moment. We're heading to Buxton on Friday rather than to West Yorkshire. Are they the perfect team to play to bounce back after playing a side of this calibre?
Well, you never know, do you? You never know. You've got to take every game as it comes, and no two games are the same. And you don't know what's happening, behind the scenes. You don't know, what you're going to be up against. So, it'd be interesting. I just think that, from Scarborough's point of view, I mean, this might have taken quite a bit out of them as well. I think they've really put a shift in tonight.
Well, let's go find out, because Michael Ingham is about to come up to us, but unfortunately we won't be able to bring that to you here on BBC Radio York. So, Sharon, we will hand back to you after Scarborough Athletic fall to a 3-2 defeat.
Thanks, Fletch, and also to Neil Redfern this evening as well. As Fletch says, we will speak to Michael Ingham in absence of the manager, and the manager, of course, Jonathan Greening, picking up that red card this evening, and we will let you hear that interview later this evening on BBC Sounds. James Fletcher will be speaking to him very shortly indeed, and we will pop that online for you a little bit later. And tweet the link, put the link on X at BBC York Sport. That's where you'll be able to hear that a little later this evening. And that is about as far as we go for tonight as well. On an evening where Scarborough Athletic fought so valiantly in the first half to bring it to 2-2 at half-time against Kidderminster Harriers, just to concede one more after the break, and then of course things just turning a little bit sour towards the back end, and Jonathan Greening picking up that red card, the manager in that 3-2 defeat against a side that's gone top of National League North. More sport for you in the breakfast show tomorrow morning with Georgie Spanswick. Also, don't forget as well, there'll be Radio York Sport back with you tomorrow evening from 6 o'clock, and then commentary from Friday evening as Scarborough Athletic travel to Farsley and Harrogate Town take on Cheltenham. Join Pete Spencer from 6 o'clock on Friday evening. But from me, for this evening and the rest of the sports team, have a very good night.
On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio York.
and on your radio.
The sounds of North Yorkshire is
BBC Radio York.
At 10 with the BBC News, I'm Al Tansley. The Treasury Minister, Tulip Siddiq, has resigned from government. She's faced questions over her financial ties to her aunt, who was ousted last year as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. In a letter to Sir Keir Starmer, she said an investigation into her financial affairs found she hadn't breached the Ministerial Code of Conduct, but she said the issue had become a distraction. Here's our political correspondent, Tom Simons.
The allegation
Royal Mail logo on one side of it is in Welsh. Ian Elcock first spotted Stephen Fry said he was screamingly funny. You're up to date. It's just coming up to 3 minutes past 10.